It's the Mixed Martial Arts Hour with
The Mixed Martial Arts Hour back in your life on this Monday, February 8th, 2016. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani inside our New York City studio. I come to you today a very happy man, my friends. Yeah, it's cold outside. Yeah, it's snowing outside, but there's a lot of excitement in the air. First things first, it's Monday. We get to do the show. That makes me happy. It's good to be back, and I am praying to the podcast gods. If you want to call us a podcast, quite frankly, okay, it's a podcast. I don't know. I think we're a little bit above a podcast, but you know what? The word podcast these days, I could go on a whole tangent about this, I think is overarching. So whatever. The podcast, tech gods, internet gods, please, no problems today. All right. Thank you. I've been praying to them all morning. Don't worry. That wasn't my sole prayer. But last week I felt horrible about what happened. And these things happen when you are doing a live show, especially online, streaming. These things are going to happen. And I appreciate your patience and your loyalty, as I said at the end of last week's show. But I'm in a good mood today. I am in a great mood today, my friends, because A, my beloved New York Knicks have just fired Derek Fisher. That is fantastic news. I am elated. Ooh, what a load off. So that's great. B, we had a fantastic weekend in Las Vegas. Thank you very much to everyone who voted for MMAfighting.com Media Source of the Year. Wow, what an honor. Really appreciate it. It was great to celebrate with some of my colleagues at MMA Fighting. Not all of them, not even half, not even 25%. But it was great to be there with Dave, Chuck, Esther, Casey. That was a lot of fun, and wish everyone could be there. We really appreciate you guys voting. Appreciate you voting for me as well. Thank you very much. That meant a lot. I do not take that for granted. So thank you to everyone who voted, and thank you to Fighters Only as well for putting on that show. And I got to be honest, I have been critical of that award show in the past. That was the best one. I think I've been to 6 of 8. I don't think they had a ceremony the first year. That was by far the best one. They've really figured out how to put it on. It was a lot of fun. Fun to see some familiar faces. They really did a nice job. I suggest checking it out next year. And I'm not just saying that because we won. I was sad the MMA Hour didn't win. But you know what? I kind of view this program, this podcast, if you will, as the little train that could. So just being nominated meant a lot. I appreciated that greatly. And I know the rest of us back there, including Mr. New York Rick, echo that sentiment. It was just nice to get that nod, but it's a really great time. If you're a fan going to a fight and it's on a Friday, Super Bowl weekend typically these days, I suggest checking it out. Plus, you get to meet all these fighters. Like, you just walk up to them. It's crazy. So I'm in a good mood because of that. Again, thank you. I got to meet the legendary Bill Steinmetz, who gave me that Las Vegas PD badge that you see on my computer. Bill Steinmetz, top bloke, one of our top fans, most loyal fans, great guy. He's the man. Photoshop whiz. I'm also in a good mood because for the first time since November, I get to be home for 2 weeks, 2 consecutive weeks. So that's very exciting. So there's a lot of excitement in the air. And we have a great show. We have a packed show. So much going on in the world of MMA. Wonder Boy has arrived. We'll talk about UFC Fight Night 82. Bit of a break in the schedule this weekend, but we have a stacked program, my friends. Wow. A who's who. Beginning at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time, Henry Cejudo will stop by. He, as we found out on Saturday, will be facing Demetrius Johnson for the UFC flyweight title. UFC 197, April 23rd. They also announced Daniel Cormier versus John Jones. We'll have an update on the John Jones situation. You may have heard about that this morning. So we'll talk to Henry at 4:05. Yoel Romero will stop by in his first interview since it was announced that he has been provisionally suspended by USADA. He'll stop by with his manager, Malki Kawa, to explain where things stand right now. Rafael dos Anjos will stop by. I think you may have heard of him. He is the UFC lightweight champion. He'll come on at 3:15 to talk about UFC 196, his fight against Conor McGregor, who stole the show at the awards, as he's been known to do, with an unbelievable acceptance speech. If you have not seen that, courtesy of one Jeremy Botter on his YouTube page, it was incredible. He was like some evil lord looking down upon the peasants. taking shots at Verdum, etc. 245, we'll talk to Chad Mendes, who's been pretty quiet since his loss to Frankie Edgar in December. 225, we'll talk to Alexander Gustafsson about his move to San Diego. Looking forward to having him on. 205, we'll talk to Michael Chandler. He has some news to share. 145, we'll talk to Eddie Alvarez, coming off his win over Anthony Pettis. Big win just a couple weeks ago. 125, we'll talk to Ben Rothwell, who's announced this morning he's fighting JDS in Zagreb, Croatia, April 10th. Sunday, April 10th, I might add. So there's a ton going on. As always, we want to hear from you. Hit us up using the hashtag #TheMMAHour. Leave a question or comment in the comment section below. We'll get your questions throughout the show, maybe not in one consecutive block. But as I said, a lot to get to. I even have an update on BJ Penn. All right, let's get into it. First off, let's go to the Skype machine and welcome in our first guest of the day. You know, he made headlines last week in Las Vegas because he was making his UFC debut, but also because he was also sort of covering the event. He was on the MMA beat. We interviewed him, and then after his fight against Mickey Gall on Saturday night, he joined the rest of the media on Media Row, even got some questions in at the press conference. There he is, Mike the Truth Jackson of thetruthjackson.com and also photographer Legacy FC. Oh, Mike the Truth. Why do I keep calling it thetruthjackson.com? It's mikethetruth.com.
There you go. The Twitter and Instagram is @thetruthjackson.
It's very complicated. Can't you just make it all the same?
I guess I could, but that would cost too much change. I have business cards and shirts and all that.
Well, now that you're some, big celebrity, it might be good to get it all under one name. You know what I mean?
I might have to do that.
Okay. Now, you're still in Las Vegas, right?
That's correct.
Why? Why didn't you get the heck out of there?
Man, I was enjoying it. Derek Lewis, my teammate, his birthday was yesterday. If you can look at his Instagram and social media, it was pretty live. Had to carry him out the club, and he's a big boy. But we just having fun out here, man. But I'm heading out today. I'm headed back home today.
Derek Lewis, by the way, since you brought him up, his celebration, without a doubt, the scariest, most intimidating celebration. When he gets down on that mat and starts like slamming it and gives you that look of death, that is frightening, my friend. Have you ever been on the receiving end of that? I know you're a lot smaller than him, but holy moly.
No, I've seen it up and close, in person. It is very scary. I was making fun of him a little bit. Last night we were all eating, watching the Super Bowl. And I was like, man, you have one of the longest celebrations. Like, he does the thing on the ground. He does the cutthroat. Then he jumps his big self up on the cage and he beats his chest. I'm like, dude, like, that's too much. We need to cut that down a little bit.
Yeah. Personally, I think that he should up the ante and keep going. It's getting him attention. Ride that baby. All of a sudden, he's a player at heavyweight. Good for him. Okay, let's talk about you. So you go into this fight, all eyes on Mickey Gall. You're essentially the opponent. Now, as I said, I thought you did a great job of selling yourself. You stole some headlines. But in the end, it was interesting. Like, they're kind of celebrating. Like, Mickey Gall was the one that they wanted. He wins in impressive fashion. And now he gets to fight CM Punk. In retrospect, do you feel slighted? Did you feel like the stack was everything was stacked against you? The odds were against you, and everyone was kind of rooting for you to fail. And if so, does that make you feel a little funny?
In a way I did, but again, it's a fight, so it is what it is, and it's a business, so I can't necessarily feel slighted by any of that. I win the fight. I felt good, felt great, no jitters or anything like that. Look, he caught me with a punch. I slipped, and he jumped on me. He did what he was supposed to do, and it just happened so quickly.
So you say no jitters, really? Like in the locker room, you're about to walk out to the octagon. Bruce Buffer is going to say your name, all that stuff. That didn't get you at all?
No, none of that. For me, I like being in the spotlight. I like the cameras on me. I obviously going to have nerves in the beginning because it's a fight. But there were no extra. Once I was in the cage or an octagon, waiting for Mickey to come out, the nerves really went away. I really can't explain it. It just, I felt comfortable in there.
So maybe did you underestimate Mickey? Was he better than you thought he would be?
No, I didn't underestimate him at all. He was a little longer than I thought. And again, like the punch, it wasn't a punch where it hurt or anything like that. I slipped. My heel, I guess I wasn't used to the texture. The octagon's canvas is completely different than anything I've ever been on.
Wow.
Yeah, and look, I slipped, and again, he jumped on me, did what he did. I wasn't hurt at all. So I just take it for what it is.
Did you go in the cage beforehand? I sometimes see the fighters working out, getting a feel for the cage. Did you do that?
Yeah, I was able to get out there for a good like 2 minutes.
Ah,
They were trying to drug test me,
ah,
and I drank a bottle and a half of water, and it took probably about an hour for me to go pee.
wow.
And yeah, and that took a lot of the time away from me trying to go out to the cage and get a feel of it and things like that. I was only able to get in there for literally about 2 minutes or so, and then I had to go back and get wrapped up.
Are they sitting in a stall as you're trying to urinate for an hour, or do you get to go back into the locker room and tell them when you're ready? Like, how does that process work?
Well, I went in the back, and the dude he came in there with me, and I asked him, did he want to come hold it for me?
Oh
But
gosh. What, the cup?
yeah, well, I was gonna hold the cup, and he was gonna hold my penis, and
Okay.
gonna do the thing. But he objected to that, so I filled it up probably about 2/3 of the way, and then I just couldn't go anymore. And they were like, well, go like walk around and do some other stuff, and I was like, I'm okay, I'll try, and I did that. Literally, I paced back and forth for like an hour, and it never came. And then finally, I got dressed and put my fight kit on and stuff like that, and then drank another little bit of water, and finally it happened. But then by this time, they were like, "Look, we got to get you wrapped up. The car starts in like 30 minutes."
Right.
So everything was cutting it close.
So, out of curiosity, like, so if you pee in the cup and you don't reach the amount that you have to get to, so you said it was 2/3 of the cup, which obviously wasn't good enough, and then you have to go again. Do you get to add to the same cup, or do you have to start a whole new batch?
No, I added to the
Oh,
same.
okay, interesting. That's fascinating.
Oh yeah,
Um,
I was able to fill that other cup up if that was the case.
okay, and then of course the fight ended quickly. Like, does it feel? Because I saw you afterwards, and you had a smile on your face. You were doing the media thing, but does it feel like? And I know this was never an aspiration of yours. You kind of stumbled into this. You were very honest about that, and I think people appreciated it. But for it to last just 45 seconds, is there an empty feeling inside? How do you sort of digest how it all went down?
Right after the fight, I was fine. It didn't hit me until that later that night around, I don't know, probably like midnight, 1 o'clock. We were at the after party, and it finally it hit me that I actually competed in the UFC. Like that part didn't register. I mean, from the signing to media day to the fight itself to
Wow.
after the fight, none of that registered until at the after party. I was like, dude, I fought in the UFC. And then I mean there were a lot of what ifs, and I'm the type of person that I don't like to dwell on the past, so to speak. But I'm really even today. I woke up and I'm thinking about it. What could have happened if I would have maybe circled a different way, or if I would have threw this combo. But again, that's the past. I can't live in the past. I have to move forward from there and just try to do something better now.
Did you ever get a response as to why the stipulation was just for him and not for you?
No, I never got the response. Well, I never asked the question, especially after I plan on, calling out
Sure.
Funk and doing these things in the octagon after. But once it was said and done, I didn't get the win. I figured, why do I even care?
Sure, sure. I was wondering before the fight, of course. After the fact, it's a moot point. And then you decide to get dressed, very nicely dressed, and then you join the media on press row. Why did you decide to do that, not just go in the stands and take it all in?
I have ADD, so I'm all over. My brain is all over the
Okay,
place. I don't like just sitting still. I went in the back and I spoke to Daniel. He and I spoke for a little bit, and then I wasn't even. Crazy thing was I wasn't sweaty or anything like that, so it wasn't like I put on my good clothes
yeah,
on top of the sweat. Like I had a little perspiration on my forehead, but got dressed, went back and had some delicious food. And then I figured, why not just go back and cover the fights? I mean, I'm gonna watch them anyway.
sure.
And actually, people asked me prior to the fight, was I going to do that? And I was like, I really don't know. But just being in that situation, I was just like, I might as well. I wanted to watch the fights anyway, so I may as well do it from press row.
Did I hear you say you spoke to Dana White?
Yes, I spoke to him for a little bit.
Yeah, what did he say to you?
Well, for me, it was I just wanted to get some things out there as far as on the media side, not necessarily the fight side, because again, there was no long term goals with this run.
Sure.
So I wanted to sort of solidify myself on the media side. And because that's really what all this was about, is to help me get exposure, not just as a fighter, but as a media personality.
Yeah.
And I wanted to continue to build the brand. So I spoke with him one-on-one just so I can make sure that, I'm coming out to the UFC fights more often. My face is seen, and, there's going to be more coverage provided. And, he was cool with that. Schaller, I spoke with him as well, and he seemed happier than I was about the press row. He was like, this has never been done before. But it was I had a great time. This whole thing was a great experience.
So no regrets, nothing that you look back and say, I wish this was done differently towards me, that I did this. Like when you look back on the entire week, from when you got there, I believe on Tuesday till, now, how do you view it?
No, I mean, I looked at this whole situation as a win-win for me. Obviously a win in the fight would have been the extra, the bonus incentive. But this whole thing was a win-win. I have no regrets about it. Obviously, I would have loved to have gotten the win and to face CM Punk, but it is what it is. So no regrets at all. I'm happy to be where I am. It seems like I'm getting a lot of positive feedback on social media. The followers continue to climb on Twitter and Instagram, and the likes are coming in on Facebook. So, I mean, it's fun, man, and I'm enjoying all of it.
Have you been released yet?
I haven't got the email yet.
Okay.
So I don't know. I will see. I'll probably get it today or tomorrow or something.
Fair to say that you're expecting it?
I mean, I'm expecting it. Some people, they're calling for me to fight some other guys. Look, if they can get me in there with someone like Artem Levin or someone like that type of fighter, I'm happy to come back, and put on a great show. But outside of people like that, I mean, look, I'm gonna go back to boxing, kickboxing, and I'll fight on local, smaller MMA shows, Legacy and things like that.
Artem Levin, isn't he a kickboxer?
If that's what you want to call him, he just looks
No.
like
You're thinking of Artem Levin, like the Glory guy. You mean Artem Lebov?
Not Artem Levin. I'm sorry.
I was like Artem Levin.
Artem
Lobov, yeah.
Yes, someone like that. My apologies.
Wow. So you think you could take him?
Someone like that, yeah, man. I mean, dude, he's a brawler. I love those kinds of fights.
Fair enough. He actually fought.
I'm not worried about Artem trying to take me down either. So
Right. But just for the record, Artem Levin may be a little soon for him, right?
Yeah. Not looking at Artem Lebov.
Yes. Okay. So now that you've been in there with Mickey, do you think he beats Punk? Obviously, Punk is a big unknown, but what do you think?
I think Mickey takes him out in the first round.
Oh wow.
I can't see CM Punk or Phil Brooks. I'm going to call him Phil Brooks. I can't call him dude CM Punk.
Okay, well, let me ask you about that. How do you call the man who will be fighting Dada 5000 in your neck of the woods on February 19th? What do you call him?
Duffer or whatever.
No. What do you call the man who will be fighting Dada 5000? What do you call him?
Of course.
What do you call him?
Call him Kimbo.
Well, there you go. What's the difference? Why don't you call him Kevin Ferguson?
I actually, when I first found out about it, I didn't even know his name. I really thought his name was Kimbo.
Yeah, right. That's the greatest name of all time, if true, but it's not. Okay, fair enough. Go back to your prediction.
No, I think it's a first round finish for Mickey. It's just, look, Phil, he can train with these guys for as long as possible. The wear and tear that he's had on his body from professional wrestling, I just don't see him advancing. There are people like BJ Penn who's come out and, received their black belt in 3 years and things like that. I don't see him as being that type of athlete, and definitely doesn't have that type of fighter IQ. I mean, there's nothing. I don't believe in lucky punches and things like that. But I mean, that's all he really has is a puncher's chance to sort of close his eyes and to throw a wild shot. I don't see him being able to take Mickey down and submit him, or especially on the hands. I mean, his striking is horrible.
You've seen it?
I've seen the little pad work video.
Okay.
And look, I could, even if I were in a situation where I was trying to make myself look bad, I couldn't do that to make myself look bad.
Okay.
Like, that's how bad it is. I couldn't fake that.
I said it in our post-fight wrap-up. I said, I'm going out on a limb. There's something about Mickey Gall. I know he's only 2-0, and he hasn't had a ton of competition. I feel like this kid is going to be around. I feel like he has aspirations well beyond CM Punk. He's taking it seriously. Solid team. He's not just some guy working out of or training out of a strip mall. I feel like he has it in him. What do you think?
No, I do. I mean, and he's young. He's
Yeah,
only 23, so he has a bright future ahead of him. Uh, as long as he's sort of brought up the correct way.
sure.
He's not going out here and calling out top 10, top
No.
15 guys. He's brought along the proper way. He comes in here. He defeats Punk. I mean, you're gonna have to give him someone with you know not a lot of fights, maybe 4 fights, 5 fights, someone early on, or maybe someone on the outs getting ready to get cut in the UFC to have maybe 1 or 2 fights left. But as long as he stays, mentally sharp, he continues to hone his skills and doesn't get too ahead of himself, by trying to get these bigger names and bigger fights, then I feel he does well and he has a bright future.
All right, so let's talk about the big news on Saturday in that same division, in your division. Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, I'm still blown away by what he did. I mean, that to me was one of the greatest one-round performances in a main event against a former champion. That was Holly Holm Ronda-esque, but he was able to finish Hendricks in the first. I mean, what he did he embarrassed Johnny Hendricks. What he did was unbelievable. Do you share my my sentiments here? I'm still blown away.
I was completely blown away. I was sitting there watching it live. I was in awe of his
Yeah.
performance. Johnny Hendricks, he comes in here, this sort of resurges Johnny Hendricks 2.0. He has a nutritionist. He looked good at the weigh-ins with the weight cut and things like that. So people asked me about it, what did I think? And I was just like, look, I don't know, because Stephen Thompson, he's a ninja, man. He was doing some beautiful things out there in the octagon. But then again, you didn't know what we were going to see from the new Johnny Hendricks. He blew me away. He was the techniques he was using, and Johnny Hendricks had nothing for him.
Joe Silva afterwards, we were talking briefly, called it a work of art, and really that's what it was. It was the finest example of mixed martial arts that you can see, martial arts that you can see inside the octagon. And now the big question is, like, all of a sudden, you know how these things go. Guy gets a big win on a big stage. He gets a lot of momentum behind him, and people are saying, okay, title shot. If you're Joe Silva, do you book Robbie Lawler versus Wonderboy? Do you go with Tyron Woodley? What do you do?
What is his streak right now? What's the winning streak that he has?
For Wonderboy?
Yes.
I believe it's 6 in a row.
Man, that's tough to call. But again, you do have Tyron Woodley sitting there, kind of waiting in the wings. He wants his shot as well. I guess you maybe play it out to see who's sort of ready. I ran into Tyron a little bit of weigh-ins. He looked good. He looked ready to go. So who knows? But it's hard to negate the performance that Wonderboy had. It was almost a flawless victory. I don't know if Hendricks actually laid a strike on him.
I'd love to see the UFC push him a little more. He's got such a great personality, appears to be squeaky clean, and he is like a superhero, as you said. He's like a ninja. It's unbelievable. He's like a cartoon character. I feel like there's a lot of momentum behind him now, and let's not forget, Tyron Woodley hasn't fought in a year. He was supposed to fight Hendricks. Unfortunately for him, he didn't get the fight. Wonderboy gets the fight, beats Hendricks. Man, he's got a strong case. I still feel like if GSP wants to come back, he'll get the shot first. But I wonder if now Wonderboy has jumped over Tyron Woodley.
Don't please look. I love GSP.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to see him come back. He has nothing else to prove.
I know.
But
they're going to try to get him back. They want him back. There's no doubt about that.
Okay. Let him. I don't give him. You're gonna give him an immediate shot when he comes back. I don't know.
I feel like they want him for UFC 200. They need a big name for UFC 200. There's no Ronda Rousey.
You have Phil Brooks and Mickey Gall.
Oh, you think that's big enough? Would you do that fight at UFC 200, or would you put it on one of the other shows to build that one up? Because 200 sells itself.
But you have to have a name. It does sell itself, but you can't have Johnny Hendricks and Wonderboy at 200.
No, of course not.
Okay, right. You have to have a name, and Phil Brooks is going to bring that name with CM Punk. So you might as well put him and Mickey Gall on 200.
All right, we'll see. Punk said he wants that. Okay, final thing for you. What's next? What's next for Mike Jackson? What do you do now?
Look, I'm getting back. I'm putting my media hat back on.
Yes.
I have Bellator. Not this upcoming weekend, but the following weekend in Houston.
Yep.
And just nothing. I'm not hurt or anything like that. No injury sustained. So I'm definitely getting back in the gym. I'll probably take a few days off just to indulge a little bit in some food because, that's my favorite.
Sure.
So I'm going to do that a little bit. But as far as fighting, I'm definitely looking forward to some boxing and kickboxing and, possibly some MMA this summer.
All right. Well, it was fun, my man. You handled it well. You took it in stride, and I think you definitely made what was somewhat of a subpar event a little more fun for us media guys who have been covering this for a long time. It's nice when something out of the ordinary sort of comes out of nowhere, out of left field, and that's what you and Mickey provided, and you did a fantastic job. So kudos to you, my man. Great to have you on the program. Great to do the beat with you last week. You did a phenomenal job, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me, Ariel.
All right, there he is. Mike the Truth Jackson of the MikeTheTruth.com website. I got it right, finally. And also photographer for Legacy FC. Fun stuff from him. And now he can go back to being an underappreciated and lowly media member. All right, let's move along. As I said this morning, and we didn't time this. This is just the MMA gods smiling down upon us. The UFC announced that on April 10th in Croatia, or should I call it Croatia? I think it's Croatia. I think that's how you say it. Not Croatia. It's a little too, you can't pronounce the I that much. Got to be a little more subtle. Croatia. Anyway, it's going to be JDS, Junior Dos Santos, coming off that loss to Alistair Overeem against Big Ben Rothwell. And wouldn't you know it, Ben Rothwell was already booked. Perhaps he knew something that we didn't. Let's ask him. Big Ben, are you there?
I'm here.
Hello, Ben. Why do you sound not so excited to be on the show?
You look into things too much.
Okay. You didn't know that was going to be announced?
Aren't I? Didn't I even reach out to you and tell you I was surprised that you hadn't reached out to me yet? You're like, I was giving you a week.
Well, all those Johnny-come-latelys wanted to book you right off the bat, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to give him some time.
He loves to dig into the rest of me.
I'm we've been there since day one. We've been on this journey since, pre-IFL, let's be honest.
Hey, you got the interview immediately after, so.
I did. That was big. But wait, did you know that they would announce it today? Were you giving me a sort of subtle scoop there?
I just, common sense said that, this is going to get announced soon. I wasn't sure if they're going to wait a day or what was going to happen. So I'm glad that it just got it out there because I'm on the phone with you right now.
Yes, this is perfect. What great timing. Thank you to the UFC, my good friends over in Europe. Now, I got to say, if we could be honest here for a second, Ben.
Well, if we could be honest, you said it was perfect. I said, well, we could have been talking at 11.
Well, that's
could have been talking a little sooner, so it can always be better.
All right, fair enough. Although we're not on at 11.
Well, 12 o'clock. But hey, you know what? Thanks for making sure none of the heavyweight divisions coaches or anything were on beforehand. So
that's true.
Get me all fired up.
It was just Mike Jackson.
That. Thank you.
But wait, I just want to be honest. I don't know if I love this fight for you. I don't
well,
really.
Okay,
please.
This is going to come. So just let me get to it. I'll tell you why. Because on social media, I try to put out there right away too. Look at it this way: waiting 10 months is really like the option, and I no. All right, because Alistair Overeem, even though we already fought, it's just still top guys, and he's injured or he's dealing with things, but he said it's a shoulder. Andre Arlovski, same thing, said it's a shoulder. Cain Velasquez, everybody knows, documented, back injury. And then Travis Brown was, I guess, from everything I'm hearing, was supposed to take this fight. It was a lock.
Oh.
And then his things were said, or something happened, and he said that his foot was too injured. So now it's all four of the top guys, and there's the other two are, obviously common sense will say something's happening there.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves Junior. Now Junior Dos Santos might be coming off a loss, but he also has beat Stipe, he's beat Cain, and he's beat Verdum, and he's a former UFC heavyweight champion. So. That is what it is. He has a lot of people that believe in him still. They think it's a great fight. A lot of people, are picking him still. So it means it's a great fight for the fans. I know that I have a legion of fans now that wholeheartedly don't think I'm going to win this fight. They think I'm going to go on to win the title and defend it. I believe that I'm going to make all of them right. But it starts here with Junior Dos Santos, and I believe this will indefinitely make me the number one contender. So I accept this challenge.
Okay, damn. Now I actually think that you sold me. I think that was perfect. Did they tell you to say that, or did you come up with that by yourself? That was fantastic. I haven't
really spoke too much except because they're waiting for me to talk here in the next couple of days.
Oh, okay. Well, they're waiting for this. They're probably transcribing this interview right now.
I'll count on you to take care of that.
Wow. So what? Okay. It seems like the original plan, based on what you were saying, was Travis Brown. How'd you feel about that?
No, he was set up to fight Junior.
Oh,
I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
So the Junior was already in, and then they went through all these guys and everybody. That's the list of reasons why.
So you're plan B.
Said, listen. So they asked me. They said, listen, you don't have to do anything. They're like, you can, this is kind of the landscape. This is what's going on. This is when we project. We'll get you matched. And they know that I have no problem waiting 9 to 10 months. I've done it, 6 years of my career.
Right.
But I've also, when I'm healthy and I'm training properly, fought 8 times in 1 year. So guess what? I'm pretty healthy right now. I feel really good, and this all makes sense to me. And yeah, overseas isn't always an advantage, but the thing is he's traveling. He's going to be in foreign territory as well. So I see it as an equal that way, and it's just it's part of being a professional, and to prove that you can be a main event fighter. These are things that have to go with it, and I can do all these things. I know that I can, and I can go out and perform even better than I did in my last fight.
So they actually gave you the option of sitting out and waiting. I'm assuming Miocic-Verdum is happening in May. All signs point to that. So was that even an option to wait for the winner of that fight?
It could be. It could have been. It just seems from the timeline.
Yeah.
It sounds like, that might be. But then one of these other guys might have been like, who knows? 10 months, a lot of things can happen. So there's a fight ready now, and I'm healthy now. So, all right, it makes sense. And it is, like I said, it's still a big name.
Okay, but then let me ask you this. You have a very strong case for being the number one contender right now. Are you disappointed you didn't get the title shot?
Disappointment doesn't exist to me right now. I don't think about it. I think about this was supposed to happen. It's just kind of the way it is. It's kind of like the last everything. I could have had the Stipe fight, and I don't think it made as strong of a message as beating Josh Burnett the way I did. I think everything is just got to be positive. And the more I continue to do that, you see in the results.
Did you watch the JDS Overeem fight?
Of course.
What did you think of his performance? I mean, obviously he lost, but leading up to that point.
I could see both of them were just respected each other, and they're very tentative. And, obviously we've seen them perform differently.
Yeah.
They performed a certain way this time.
Why do you think that is?
I know kind of like what you're digging for, but I'm just going to stay, and it's just the way it is.
What do you mean, what I'm digging for?
A whole bunch of reasons.
No, honestly, I'll tell you where I'm coming from. I feel like he's been hit in the head a lot. I don't know if that's what you were thinking, but I feel like he's been in a lot of wars, this guy. I mean, this guy, the Kane fights, the Miocic fight was 5 rounds as well, which, quite frankly, I thought Miocic won that fight. I don't know about you. What do you think?
I was there live for that fight, and I just thought it was a great fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see someone going the other way, but I was okay with the decision. I think he just had a few more shots get through. He showed perseverance, and I think it was a very close fight, though. I mean, very, very good fight. It was something to watch live.
And I wasn't necessarily blown away by either of them in December, Reem or JDS. So that's all. I was just wondering if, basically the question is, do you feel like he's on the downslide of his career? While you clearly are on the upswing here, do you feel like you're catching him at the right time?
I mean, this isn't like anything. I don't judge my opponents, and I don't look at what they're doing. I don't try to tell them, because when they do it to me, like, it doesn't turn out well for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about to do it to them.
Okay.
But this is just the way it is. This is like the night of the fight persona. It speaks. Any fight for them puts them on the downswing.
Right.
When they take me. It's like, if you're going to fight me, then that's kind of the way it is. That's the way I have to handle it, because I'm here to beat everybody. I said it's not about one guy. It's about all of them. All of them that matter to me.
So you're oozing confidence right now. I mean, that's very clear. Have you ever been this confident in your entire life? You're just like, it feels to me like that when you go in the cage, you're winning these days. That's the mindset. Have you ever been like this before?
When I was younger, when I first started, it was more ignorance. I say ignorance is bliss, and you don't know any better. So you get in there, and I was just going crazy on guys. From my first fight, you see me going. I'm 17 years old and just going crazy. Like, didn't know what anything. And I was just very aggressive, and it would bring it. And I had a lot of awesome, where I had these walk-off knockouts where I'm like, I throw this combination and walk away, like early enough in my career. So I was like, could have been easy to have a big head, and I think I was like confident, but that was the wrong kind of confidence, because I didn't know what it was like fighting a 6'8" guy that knew how to fight and train under Militiches. that fight right there is like all of my 9 losses have evolved and changed me who I am. I would not be myself if it wasn't for them. So it's like every part of my career matters, not just the wins. But with each one of those losses, I think they damage your confidence in a sense in the beginning, especially. Remember, I'm like 20, 21, 22 years old. 22 years old, I fought 11 times in a 1-year period of time, though some of those fights was 2 fights in one night. And then one weekend, I fought once on Friday and twice on Saturday.
Wow.
In Hawaii, 16-man tournament. It was one of a kind. So it's 3 fights in one weekend against guys like Meat Truck and, stuff like Tim Sylvia was in the tournament, all these big heavyweights. So that was a crazy time then. So I had some losses then too during this 11-fight stretch, and they changed me then. As I matured as a person, it just a lot of things. I went through a lot in my career. I spent 6 years at the military camp, 5 years prior. I spent in Kenosha. That's where I started this whole thing. That's where I was doing these 11 fights in 1 year. I had my run 8 fights in 1 year in the military camp. And then, 2009, I left, and kind of when I came to Kenosha, that's when the next evolution began, really, because I had to do a lot of things on my own. I didn't have a choice, and every time I kind of reached out to somebody, it's just always been like this way with me in martial arts. From the very beginning before I started, is I wanted to seek out the truth. And the reason I refused to do martial arts when I was really young, because I was smart enough to know that martial arts was watered down. Yeah, I think it was all karate and taekwondo at the time. Nothing against them, not saying anything's like that, but there was a lot of it where people just want to make money, sell belts, didn't teach you anything. And I knew that at a young age, so it was really hard for me to get into martial arts. And once I did, that's what started this whole journey. Where I'm at right now is learning the truth of martial arts, learning the truth about myself, and learning the truth about a lot of things I didn't even know I was going to get the truth of. Business, politics, all of these things I've learned on this journey. And right now, here I am talking to you as I'm on this step here to my title run and defending this title.
All right, so do you believe in your heart of hearts you win this fight, you'll finally get that title shot?
I believe so. I think a 5-fight win streak in the heavyweight division, winning the way that I am against the competition I'm winning against, I feel strong. I feel like the realm of fans saying they want this, we know that does affect the UFC, and I believe that wave of fans will happen with a 5th victory as heavyweight. And I feel the wave now is already there, but I feel like a 5th win is going to put it over the top. And no one on this planet, except for, of course, your few critics, and they're always going to be there, but I feel like 90+% of everyone will say, I'm the number 1 contender. And that's the way I want it.
Have you been told that? Did they tell you when you accepted that you're getting the title shot if you win?
I believe there was some talk. I wasn't on the conversation, but
okay.
It sounded like I was at least in the conversation.
Yeah.
And like a possibility, and like, yeah, if I want to wait 10 months because they already have something else set up, which is understandable. So, just being told those things, it's like, yeah, it's there. But I need to do something better than just wait around.
On February 4th, you tweeted, "Yo, Stipe Miocic, keep an eye out because that bag doesn't hit back." What did you mean by that?
No, I said you, Stipe.
Oh, I thought that was a typo.
No, I said you, like to him. I'm like, you watch it, because he told everybody, hey, watch out, watch this video about this. And I was just making a joke, like, no, you watch it.
Oh, okay.
That thing doesn't hit back. Just to kind of mess with him, because I try to have fun, like, respectfully. But he makes jokes like, man, when him and Verdum are going back, and Verdum said something like really goofy back, and he's like, man, I thought I was bad at talking shit. So I figured, like, all right, I'll jump in, mess with him a little bit. He didn't say anything back. It's funny in itself. But we've had some, pleasant exchanges back and forth. Like I said, outside of the octagon, outside of my fight persona, dude, I respect these guys. He's very, he's a good man, and so is Verdum, and these guys that I've been a chance to interact with. I respect them, of course, as you can see with Josh Barnett. Junior DeSantos, same thing. But we're here to compete with each other. We're challenging each other. So it's fun because the fans like to see it. And then, like, Verdum, I had to dig in on him.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that.
Verdum goes from, Rothwell, he threw my name in the mix, to, like, the more he got asked about it, the more he started backpedaling. So I think it's funny.
You think he's afraid of you?
I mean, let's be serious. Fear exists in all these men's heart. Especially when you watch me fight. It's just there. How each one of them deals with it and the effect of it, it's all different. But I definitely think, like, these guys are like, all right, we're smart. I'm going to get paid the same to fight this guy or this guy. Which one? Yeah, I'm not the one they pick. Why would you? I kind of messed it up on Fox Live. I said I'm like jumping in a box of glass. I meant jumping into a box of broken glass. Like, you jump into that thing, no matter what, no matter how you try to roll or live, you're going to get messed up. Even if you win in this jumping in the box of broken glass game, you're still going to get hurt indefinitely. Like, that, you know that coming into a fight me. I'm not going to take you down and put you in a nice key lock and all you lost, it's okay. No. If I take you down, I'm going to smash you repeatedly with elbows and hurt things on you any way that I can before I submit you. Like, that's my mindset. Like, they know it. Like, I don't think anything else. I'm going to hurt you. Like, that's how it is to win this, what we do. You know, it's competition. But in order to win, you win by breaking the person off.
So since the win 9 days ago in New Jersey, how many people have asked you about the go-go choke? Can they learn it? How do they learn it? How many queries are you getting?
Yeah, I see it's fun for that because a lot of people talking about it. What's fun, the funniest thing about it is all the people on it and they're making videos, like comparing it or what they think they know about it. It's hilarious to me and Luis because they don't have a clue. You know, even the ones that are like, oh yeah, this is breaking it down, and they don't break down anything. And then you got another guy trying to post videos and talk about he's had it done to him and stuff, and it's just like a joke.
So none of these people know what they're talking
about. You, on the other hand,
yes.
You built a huge credibility to it because you said, yeah, Luis did it to you and only did a bit, and you know how awful it was. So you definitely threw respect at it, and people are like, wow, this thing is something.
He did it like 5%. He did it like a second, touch it, and I felt like it was about to pop out of my throat. The Adam's apple.
It's for real.
Has he done it to you?
Well, I mean, I had to learn it.
Sure.
Of course.
But maybe he was
gotta
like,
take it and freaking learn it. And then I hear that when I was talking about it being a bear trap, I heard that sort of become its nickname too. So, you know what? It is kind of like it's like sticking your head in a bear trap. Like, you're done. Like, that's it.
As we sit here today talking, do you think that is the most lethal finishing maneuver right now in mixed martial arts?
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, just striking offense lands cleanly. It's devastating.
Yeah.
You know, and like you can't tap from that. Like, oh, you're ended. You're getting woke up. Like, that's what you just did to somebody. The submission is choke. It's like, it's lethal feeling, and if I kept it applied, you're gonna die. Like, I bet you someone will die from that. If I got to hold it for like a minute, and nobody came and like helped the guy or anything, and we were out on the street, you're dead. You're gonna die. Your throat just crushed. You can't breathe anymore, like, even if you wanted to. Oh, you tapped out a minute later. It doesn't matter. You're gonna die. You're dead already. I think that is that. So rear nakeds and stuff, they're a little bit different, you know, because you're using the way you use your forearm and stuff, and like you can kill someone, but it takes a little bit longer and stuff like that. And doesn't, when you let it go, if someone taps, you let it go. You kind of like you're okay. Maybe your head swims a little bit, just like a triangle. Maybe your head swims a little bit. You can get messed up how long it was held on for. But the go-go is like does physical damage. Like, so it's definitely different that way. Like arm bars and heel hooks. I mean, dude, those are bad, dude. You could put a nasty heel hook on somebody, they ain't gonna walk right. You know what I mean? You've just taken their leg away. So there's some nasty stuff out there.
By the way, did you watch? I know you were watching because you tweeted about the Wonder Boy fight, but Roy Nelson, longtime friend of yours from the IFL days, he wins and afterwards calls Jared Rosholt. He said he's not a fighter, and Rosholt has been criticized greatly. What did you think of his performance in the fight?
I mean, I don't want to kick a guy when he's down, but I mean, I said this before going in. Like, I'm a fan of the sport first and foremost. And the guy said some, Rothwell I'm talking about, said some things that were already like, man, look bad. The last three wins they're bad. They're snoozers. You know, people just don't want to watch that kind of fighting style. They just don't. Like, it's not that you can't take guys down and, you know, smash them on the ground. Like, yeah, it can be great. But you just take a guy down and don't do anything and just kind of use control, grind out a decision. You know, I had a fight like that one time. And I think I was my worst critic. And you won the fight and you couldn't tell. He wins a fight like that, and he's happy still. And this is why, and it was sad. I think maybe even you asked him, and you set him up. You're like, so what's more important, putting on an exciting fight or just winning, you know, making sure you get the win? And he fell for the bait, and he's like, well, I mean, I got to get that other paycheck. And you're just like, oh, doomed. Like, I thought for sure overhand right from Nelson first round. If the Roy Nelson, I was going to tweet this, and I was kind of whatever, but the Roy Nelson that showed up against Josh Burnett was beast moding, and that guy would have destroyed, you know, and maybe Roy said, you know, it was just the way he was fighting him. He was just running from him. You know, could be. I think if Roy just got even a little more aggressive, he would have got what he wanted.
Have you been
I
able?
think he was respecting the takedowns and stuff
Yep.
too much. I don't know why.
Have you been able to clear up the whole mask cape thing with Reebok? Next time, can you rock it, or is that just out?
I have no idea. I mean, as of right now, no. Just if they're anything like they were the night of the fight, no. Everybody's the same.
And just to be clear, that's the UFC that stopped it, right? Because like, there's no Reebok reps walking around.
Right.
But did you get
But
it?
UFC's like, even though it's UFC doing it, it's still like it's the partnership. It's
Sure.
like UFC's responsibility to Reebok to do this. So of course it's UFC giving the penalties and UFC's doing it. They have to show to Reebok, yes, we are regulating this. We're not just going to let the guys do whatever they want and disrespect you.
What was that song that you came out to? The song that you came out to. What was that?
You want to know? Well, it's from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
It's incredible. I love it.
I came out the fight before.
Yeah, I know, but I've never asked you. It's my favorite.
I like it too.
Who gave you that idea?
It came to me driving in my car, going through some of the music I downloaded. I wasn't even sure why I downloaded that soundtrack. But, it's funny how the universe works.
Oh, it's so great, and the look on your face, like what's going through your mind as you're walking like that?
Simple thoughts.
Like what? Kill.
It's not about death.
Okay.
I don't think of it that way.
Okay.
But I like how I describe it. I'm in there to, I look at all the heavyweight division like we're the monsters of the division. I'm in there to end them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to come on the feet or come on the ground now. I think that means a lot more coming from me now. People understand how serious I am. And it's just, for me, it's exciting because I have so much more to show. You guys have just seen a scratch of it. It's crazy how much I've evolved in the 5 years since doing my thing with Luis and being here.
It is a beautiful thing.
I've become, I don't know, you put whatever, 10 times, 50 times, 100 times the fighter in this last 5 years than I was the last 10 years. Any footage you watch me in 2009, 2010, and watch this guy beat me, that guy beat me, please. Not the same person, completely different. I can confidently tell you that. And because it's true.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
So.
All right, it continues April 10th, UFC Fight Night 86 in Zagreb, Croatia. It is Ben Rothwell against Junior Dos Santos, and I believe, perhaps they didn't put this out there, but I believe this is on FS1, right?
Yeah, everybody gets to watch.
Yeah, how about that?
Get FS1. Trust me, Kenosha loves that.
Kenosha loves. Are you going to Croatia beforehand to do any press stuff?
Yes, sir.
All right, wow. Dramatic
It's all
pause.
part of being the main event. Like I said, these are the things that I wanted to this is my first main event.
Yeah.
I knew these things that I do it, but I got to do it now. I got to prove that I can, if I'm going to be in a title fight, I'm going to be defending champion. These are things that I have to do. So for me, it also took an opportunity because I want to practice.
Pleasure to have you on. Always a pleasure to talk to you, Ben. Good luck in the fight. I'm assuming we'll talk to you beforehand, but really happy that you reached out and we got you on the show today. Congrats on the win, as I told you in Newark, and now I'm sold. Now I can't wait. Now I'm on board. JDS Rothwell.
You were my man. You were definitely great at getting my message out there. So
I'm sold.
Let them all know.
Thanks, Ben. Talk to you soon.
Board. Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. There he is. Big Ben Rothwell. Okay, let's move along. A couple weeks ago in Boston, huge win for Eddie Alvarez. He has faced a murderer's row in the UFC thus far, and he picked up a massive one over Anthony Pettis. We're talking to him right now on the phone. Eddie, how are you? Oh, on Skype. There he is. Eddie?
What up?
Hello, what happened? I thought you didn't have any Skype credit.
No. I was texting. I didn't know what that meant when I kept calling you.
All right. Well, here you are. It's great to see you. By the way, congratulations. I was at the MMA Awards. You couldn't have been bothered to show up and pick up your award, but you won an award. You know this, right?
I should have had you do it on my behalf.
That would have been
I didn't
nice.
know you were there.
But I gotta be honest. Comeback of the year. Were you surprised? I mean, I didn't really think that was much of a comeback in a fight. Gilbert Melendez.
I don't know if they looked at it that way, but my nose and my orbital was broken within like the first minute.
Fair enough.
And so it was a lot to come back from, but whatever. Hey, knockout of the year can go to an athlete. BJJ of the year can go to a good black belt, but only a fighter gets the comeback fight of the year. So
yes,
I'll take it.
I like it. I like the way you break that down. Is that the first time you've won an award from this show?
The MMA, I believe so. I've gotten Bozzies and stuff,
Yeah.
and fight here in the past, but that show itself, yeah.
So you actually take pride in this. This is an indication that you have heart, that you're a fighter, that you don't give up. This is something to be proud of.
It's a fighter's award.
Yeah.
You know, it's I've gotten knockouts before. I've gotten submissions before, but you know, a lot of people pride me on my heart and being able to stay in there when the going gets tough, and this is an award to show that aspect of it.
Absolutely. All right. I'm in agreement now. So let me ask you this. We were sitting on the Fox desk in Boston. I remember you coming up, and the vibe I got from you, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it's like you weren't quite sure what to make of the win, because, you know, some of the fans were booing. Is a huge win, so you're happy about it. It's like it wasn't, as I said, I don't think it's one for your highlight reel. Like, if I want to show someone the ultimate Eddie Alvarez, that's not, but you did what you had to do to win. You had the perfect game plan. You executed it. Do you feel better about the win now?
I do. Immediately after a fight, you can never ask me, "Oh, how'd you do?"
Uh-huh.
I never can assess it until I watch the fight over. I see actually what went on. I really have no recollection immediately after. So you can't get my best assessment. But after watching it here at home, seeing everything that went on, people were making it sound and making me feel as if we wrestled the whole entire fight. When I went back and looked, we didn't wrestle at all the whole second round. We did nothing but strike the whole second round. So I think that the fight went exactly how I wanted it to. And I think anybody who don't understand what happened that night, they just don't know much about MMA. I think I did exactly what I wanted to do, and Anthony Pettis didn't. And that's why I won the fight.
I feel like you're not getting enough credit for a win over Anthony Pettis. A win over Anthony Pettis is a gigantic deal. This is a guy who was a champion one fight ago. Do you feel the same?
A bit. Not a lot of people are making a big deal of it, but I think I spoiled a lot of people's plans. The fans, Anthony. I think a lot of people were hoping Anthony was getting his way back. Maybe a lot of sponsors, a lot of people. This was supposed to be the show time. Anthony Pettis. That ended up being the Alvarez show.
Right.
Right.
I did what I wanted to do. I fought the fight exactly where I wanted it to be, and sort of shut him down. And rather than fans be like, I actually do have a lot of MMA enthusiasts who are thanking or who are complimenting me about the fight. I think I just got a lot of slack from maybe his fans or something. They were angry that he lost. So.
Do you feel like the blueprint is now out? Like this is the way to be. By the way, I think the volume is too loud, so I'm hearing feedback on your computer.
Okay.
I think yeah, that's good. That's better. That's perfect.
Okay.
You still hear me?
Yeah.
Is the blueprint out? Like Guida beat him in a similar fashion. You beat him. Is this until he evolves? Is this how you beat Anthony Pettis?
You know, every champion, every guy in this weight class is always evolving, always getting better, always trying to find out how to keep their strengths and beat guys in front of them. So you can't say, oh, the secret's out, because he should always be evolving and always changing and getting better. I feel like I've fought against opponents who fought me in the same manner that I just fought Anthony in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I learned how to beat guys like Anthony. That's how I feel comfortable going in the cage with high-level strikers, high-level grapplers, high-level wrestlers, because I've been in the cage with all of them, and I think I have an understanding of how to beat each one. And I think maybe Anthony, if they just watch a little more tape, some history and things like that, they can figure out, hey, we beat him this way. But I know some things and how to beat good strikers and how to beat good grapplers. There's a few fundamental rules that you got to follow, and you can make it happen.
Do you think it's unfortunate that in this game it's not so much, you know, whether you win or lose, but it's how you win? It's like even if you lose in spectacular, it's a war, as they call it, back and forth, whatever, and you lose in the third round via knockout, you sometimes get more credit than if you do what you did and just did the perfect game plan to negate a guy and, just come out there with a solid win. It feels like sometimes we put emphasis on the wrong things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think the collective mass doesn't know much about the sport, and then there's a small amount who do. So we definitely have to appease the collective mass and make them happy and make them when they come out to a fight, make it enjoyable for them. And believe me, everything in my heart wants to please the fans. And if you do watch my fights and watch my career in general, I'm a crowd pleaser. I want to please the people in front of me, but I'm a competitor first. I'm a champion. I want to win. And I try to tell fans and try to educate them a little bit that there's a really small margin for error at the top. At the elite level, there's a small margin for error. So you need to always assess when I go to do a move, how much risk am I taking versus how much am I going to get out of it? So it's a constant calculating that, trying to figure out.
All right, so where does this win leave you? Because not that long ago,
I'm next. I'm the number one contender. I'm next.
That's it.
There's no one. That's it. There's no one. Who? Yeah. There's no one who's done what I've done, not in the career that I've done it. Been a champion as long as I've been champion. Fought the guys that I fought, and now came in the UFC. Yes, I lost to Donald Cerrone in a split decision, but did I do what most normal guys do and try to pick up a win and get a top 20 guy and try to? No. I fought a guy even higher than Cerrone. I fought Gilbert Melendez, who was ranked number 3. Then after I beat Gilbert, I fought the number 1 contender, the number one guy in the world, and beat him. There is no one else. I'm next. It's not even debatable. If someone wants to debate it with me, we can go on for days.
Did you share these views with the UFC, and if so, what'd they say?
I'm going out to the March 5th fight.
Oh.
With Connor and RDA and seeing what goes on there, but everything changes really quickly in this sport. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm next. I don't see anybody else who's even close.
Did they ask you to fight Tony Ferguson?
Yeah, as soon as I got done my fight, I got a call to fight in like 5 weeks, and it was definitely a no-go. I'm doing rehab right now and getting some things straight. I'm not terrible, but I'm definitely not in fighting condition right now. So I would need to work some things out with myself before I, go out there and fight again.
What's wrong?
I messed my ankle up a little bit during the fight. I have partial little tears in my ligaments in my ankle, so I need to rehab it. Nothing is serious. It's just in order to get through another 3-month, 2-month training camp, I want to make sure everything's correct. And getting back in there 5 weeks later and getting in a hard camp would kind of be foolish. So just going to tweak, make things strong, and make sure I go back out there as good as possible.
Even if you were healthy, would you have taken the fight?
It's a possibility. It's a possibility. I would have talked to some people and figured it out.
But if you're the number 1 contender, why take it?
I don't know. To stay busy. I don't know how long I'm going to sit.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen if for any reason I don't get a title shot. Maybe it's just better to go out there. But it really don't make sense. As a fighter, to keep busy and keep fighting, yeah, I take it. But I've only fought guys since I've been in the UFC who were ahead of me. It was never, let me try to fight a guy I know I can beat or a guy I know I can match up well with. It was, we're only going to fight the guys who are ahead of us to prove that we're the best. And I definitely don't, after all this, want to start doing that. It makes no sense.
And, okay, so it's interesting because I feel like it's such a unique time at lightweight because Conor is obviously the big fight. He's one of the biggest, if not the biggest star in the sport. That means a lot of attention and probably a lot of money. But if he wins this fight on March 5th, it sounds like he's going to go down to 145 and defend that title. So that's an extended time off. So are you kind of hoping that RDA wins even though it's not the big money fight?
Either way, I'm going to fight. We're going to fight. We're going to figure out who to fight anyway. Whoever the best guy in the division is at the time, that's who we're going to go after. But yeah, I have mixed feelings about it. I thought about both outcomes, and both of them have pros and cons. Both of them do.
Did they ask you to fight April 23rd?
No.
Because now Ferguson's fighting on that card against Khabib.
Yeah, I think they're fighting in April sometime.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact date.
My mistake. They're fighting April 16th on Fox. April 23rd is Jones Cormier. Are you worried at all that because that's a big stage and that they're going to give those guys the number one contenders? About Ferguson's very vocal. Are you worried about any of this, or you feel pretty confident that you have it secured?
I don't feel like either one of them can be talked about as far as number one contender. I can go on a 6-fight winning streak too if I'm not fighting guys who are in the top 3, top 5 in the world. You know, I could have chose that path. I don't want that path. I'm past that. I want the best guys, and I want to prove that I'm the best. So I fight the best guys. I don't prove I'm the best by fighting top 20 guys and fighting and choosing good matchups that make me look good. Fight the best guys and beat the best guys. So as far as I'm concerned, both of them guys, they don't really have a leg to stand on. Khabib, both of them are good. Khabib is also an excellent fighter. Hasn't fought in 2 years.
Yeah.
If I decided right now as a number one contender to take 2 years off, am I going to be able to come back and fight for the title? That's foolish. That shouldn't have to happen. So I think both of them have a little more to do, and I think that I'm next. It's that simple. And I'm the guy who can actually beat the champion and be the champion and stay the champion because of my experience. So that's why I should be next in line.
By the way, what was your reaction when you heard that Benson Henderson signed with Bellator, leaving the UFC, signing with Bellator? Given your history, I was curious what you thought of it.
Look, when fighters become free agents, it's good for us all. I'd be lying if I say anything else. When more fighters become free agents, it's good for all of us. Our value goes up.
Mm-hmm.
We all get to see other numbers that we don't really get to see. It was a good thing. When I was a free agent, it was a good thing. A lot of numbers are disclosed. We don't ever get to see them. So it's good for the management. It's good for the promoters. It's good for the fighters. It's good for the sport in general. We need free agents.
I noticed Michael Chandler sending you some pleasantries after your fight. When are you guys? You guys sort of. I mean, that was the prime rivalry. You guys put on some classics in Bellator. Doesn't seem like any bad blood or anything, right?
No, Mike came to Ricardo Almeida. He came to Ricardo Almeida's to help Frankie get ready. He was down there, so I got to see him there. And we did a lot of promoting together. So, there was never anything personal between me and Mike ever. He's a great competitor, and I love to compete, and we just happened to be in some wars together. It was a good style matchup for when it happened, and I've gotten better because of being in fights like that with Mike. So we have no issue with each other at all.
Speaking of your training, considering how your last fight went, is it fair to assume that you'll be sticking around in the Philly, New Jersey area? Mark Henry and those guys?
Mark Henry, Ricardo Almeida, everybody. I'll be here in Philadelphia. I'm not going anywhere. I love being home. Love sleeping in my own bed and seeing my kids every day. And I've been with this team for a long time, and just happy to be able to stay here with them.
Is it okay? What are you going to do about Henry Hooft? Is he still going to coach or be in your corner?
Yeah.
Even though, yeah.
I call and report to Henry on a weekly notice. I send him sparring. So it's kind of like a sort of Skype type deal or a WhatsApp. I confide in him. I love Henry's outlook and his experience. So I've always worked at Henry. I'm happy to have him in my corner.
Okay, two last quick things. Perfect world. When would you like to fight again?
June, July.
Okay.
June, July would be nice to fight for the title. Ideally, just as long as I'm champion by the end of this year, which I really feel like that's going to happen. I feel like being champ by the end of this year, whether I have to fight once or twice more, it's inevitable. Right now, we're just in the right place at the right time with the right training and training partners, we're right where we're supposed to be at.
Who's your pick? RDA or Connor?
RDA.
It's for me, it's a very simple fight for RDA to win, but he needs to implement a ground attack. If he don't, I honestly feel like he can get knocked out just like the other guys that Connor was able to knock out. But he can't allow it to be mostly of striking. I hate when guys who are from a BJJ background and a good wrestling background abandon their whole base and their whole fundamental because a lot of guys around them are telling them that they're really good strikers. I hope RDA doesn't do that. I hope he sticks to what he's good at and wins the fight in a dominant fashion the way he can. The way I feel like a lot of guys can that aren't doing it against Connor. I feel like there's a simple way to win against this guy, and nobody seems to be doing it. It's really it's frustrating to watch.
And that's take the fight to the ground?
Yeah, I feel like he'll look foolish. I honestly feel like it could be an embarrassment. It could be like everyone in the crowd going, "Wow, that was it? Why didn't anybody else do that?" It could be like it could be that surprising to people.
Wow,
that's how I feel.
Fascinating.
We just haven't seen him there.
Yeah. Mendes had some success.
Okay, let's talk about that for 1 second.
Okay.
Mendes is primarily a wrestler, correct?
Yeah.
Primarily a wrestler. In order to implement a wrestling attack, it takes a ton of energy and a ton of conditioning and training. You can't roll off the couch and implement a wrestling attack against a guy. It's just not going to happen. You need to be conditioned. You need to be in shape. So if you're a wrestler and you're rolling off the couch to go in a fight, essentially you have no weapons. You have none. Your only weapon wrestling is no good because you're not conditioned. So if you're a wrestler, you need to be conditioned in order to go in fights and implement your strength. You can't do that on a 10-day notice. So the guy hasn't been in the fight that we need to see him in. Nobody's implementing an attack. And when someone does, it's over. This whole show's over. The whole goddamn spectacle's over with. I don't know why no one's doing it. It's very frustrating.
Okay. Now I want to see Eddie Alvarez versus Conor McGregor. Great stuff, Eddie. Again, congratulations on the win. Fascinating stuff, insightful stuff. Appreciate your candor, and I guess I'll see you March 5th in Las Vegas.
All right, I'll see you, Ariel.
There he is, Eddie Alvarez. Great stuff from the Underground King himself, joining us from Philadelphia. Making the case. Wow. All right. And what's going on here? In a minute, we're going to be joined by the aforementioned Michael Chandler. We were just talking to Michael Chandler about, we were just talking to Eddie Alvarez about that. Of course, they have a long-standing history with one another, interesting times in the Bellator lightweight division. As you heard last week on this program, perhaps it was live, perhaps it was not live, but you heard it, I'm assuming by now, that Benson Henderson is going to Bellator. He has signed with Bellator, but he will not be fighting in the lightweight division first. He will be fighting for their welterweight title first. He'll be fighting Andrei Koreshkov on April 22nd on Spike TV for the welterweight title. So he goes straight to the welterweight title and not the lightweight division. That's somewhat of a twist, and not sure if I agree with that 100%. Let's talk to someone who is a part of their lightweight division. Michael Chandler. There he is, joining us via the magic of Skype. Michael, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Good to have you on the show. Lord knows I've been trying for the last few weeks to have you on the program, so I appreciate you carving out some time. I understand Bellator has been aggressive as of late. A week ago, they announced that they signed Ben Henderson. On Thursday, they announced that they signed Sergey Kharitonov. Actually, that was Wednesday. They also signed Chris Lieben on Friday. And I believe we can now add you to that mix as well, right?
We are extremely close, man. And I tell you what, going back to what you said earlier, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. I know it's been tough, but like I said, we're getting some things done. My relationship with Bellator is phenomenal. We're extremely close to getting something done. I'm excited about the signing of Ben Henderson. Excited about all these big signings Bellator is capturing. So it's looking forward to the future.
Can you tell us the status of your contract before you got things done? I mean, were you approaching free agency? Was your contract up? Where are we at? Because as you know, free agency a big part of the sport, a big story these days.
Yeah, what is today? Today's the 8th. Let's just say I was extremely close to that free agent market. But I mean, for me, it's all about making the right decisions for the future and feeling good about what I'm doing. And Bellator has been a phenomenal promotion up until the Scott Coker regime came in, and now it's even better in my opinion. Man, my manager Dave Martin and I went out to San Jose a week or two ago. And we sat down at the table and we found, some numbers and some terms and certain conditions that were mutually beneficial for both of us, myself and Bellator included. And we're getting pretty close, but there's got to be some things that are almost non-negotiables. We're kind of trying to change the industry standard. I feel like I've earned my place in this business, in this company. And there's going to have to be some things that are kind of non-negotiables for me.
Like what? Can you tell me what?
Just rights, just letting me be my own person, letting me kind of take control of certain things, letting me, feel like I'm more of a strategic partner than I am just a 1099 employee. I've got some goals and some aspirations that are out that kind of supersede, just my fighting career. I plan on becoming, one of the best fighters of all time by the end of my career, but I also have some high hopes and some aspirations for after fighting. So I want to set myself up for that. So
it sounds like you didn't play out your contract and test the waters like a Benson Henderson. Why not? Why didn't you just go that route?
I can't sit here and say that I know exactly what these other guys' situations are. I can't sit here and say that I know what their numbers are, what their salaries are, what their incentives are. But I can tell you that I'm extremely confident that the position that I am in, nobody in this entire industry would have maybe tested free agent market with the situation that I'm in.
Wow.
And it's just a good situation to be in, and it's a testament to hard work. It's a testament to doing the right thing. It's not just fighting. It's corporate America. It's whatever job, whatever business you're in. It's not playing politics. It's not being this or being that. It's being a good employee. It's helping the brand, helping your own brand and the company that you work for build together and coinciding. So you get to a situation where everything's mutually beneficial. And I've been nothing but a phenomenal employee, and I'm being compensated for that. And, I look forward to the future. And at the end of the day, I'm only 29 years old. Let's be honest. I'm not anywhere close to retirement. Just because I've talked about retirement before doesn't mean I'm close to it. I've talked about retirement in the sense that I'm making the right business decisions so that when I get to the point where I'm slowing down, when I get to the point where I'm not 100% confident in my abilities and it's time to maybe hang it up, that I don't have to continue to take a paycheck and step into the cage and get beat up for it,
I saw you sitting there in the front row in Boston. I thought that they were wooing you, giving you some VIP tickets and all that. That thought doesn't go through your mind at all. I know you're very happy you're being compensated, but Octagon, UFC, you didn't think of that at all.
Oh, let's be honest.
Okay.
No, there's not a day that goes by that there isn't some kind of inner struggle inside me. My wife and I sat there with Hans Molenkamp and Dakota Dresser. I was there with the Monster guys. We were sitting there, and I was 15 feet away from Eddie Alvarez.
Yep.
I got a ton of respect for him, but he in my mind, he looked slow, and Anthony Pettis, in my mind, he looked uninterested and unmotivated. I mean, I had no doubt if I would have stepped into the cage that night out of shape, I would have trashed both those guys. and that's the kind of confidence that I have. But it's also the fact that you have to look at everything as at the big picture. I got a ton of respect for what the UFC has done. And let's be honest, whether you fight for Bellator, World Series, ONE FC, or the UFC, I am able to sit here in my beautiful house in the situation that I am because of what the UFC has done since 1993 or whenever they started. They have built this sport into a world-renowned powerhouse, and everybody is interested whenever fights are going on, whether it's the UFC, whether it's Bellator, whatever promotion it is, this sport has blown up because of what the UFC has done. So, in my mind, I also look towards the future, and I see Ben Henderson coming over. I saw Josh Thompson coming over. I look forward to beating up both those guys. There's all kinds of talks and people asking me and reaching out to me, hey, what's Bellator this? Well, what about Bellator here? How's the sponsorships? How's this? How's that? And in the position that I'm in, I'm not into wooing anybody or trying to get anybody to come over, but at the end of the day, everybody needs to make the best decision they can with the information that they're given. And that's what I'm doing now. And who knows what this sport is going to look like, what the landscape is going to look like, what the lay of the land is going to look like 1 year from now. And just in the last couple of weeks, in the next year, me being able to beat up Josh Thompson and being able to beat up Ben Henderson, that's immediately going to put me up there, in that top 10. And then you get one or two other lightweights coming over. Shoot, now I'm getting compensated like I should be, and I'm also getting to fight the best talent in the world. It's kind of a win-win. So we'll see.
What'd you make of the decision to give Benson a welterweight title fight and not put him down at his more natural weight of 155 right away?
I don't know if it was. I can tell you one thing. In dealing with Bellator, it isn't always necessarily Bellator telling you what you're going to do all the time. The cool thing about it is it's ran differently. It's not as much a dictatorship as it is a little bit of a democracy. When you put yourself in this position to be the kind of guy that they want to have a mutually beneficial relationship with. Benson Henderson is obviously a great talent. He's a good dude. I don't know him a ton personally. I've only spoken to him a couple times, but he's a good dude. He brings a lot of eyeballs to the TV, and he's an exciting fighter, and he's been a champion at 155, and he's big enough to go 170. So I think they thought, hey, maybe you come in at 170, beat up the Russian, and obviously there's a ton of fights in the welterweight division and in the lightweight division that's great for Ben Henderson, and he can always come down when he wants to, and I hope that he does. If not, I might have to pack on a couple pounds and head up to 70.
So it's interesting. In December, Josh Thompson wins, and then he calls you out. He says he wants to fight you and not the champion, and many people, fans, media, such as myself.
Who's the champion?
Well, actually, okay, well, let's talk. Will Brooks is the champion. He seems like a very unhappy camper these days, and the facts are he beat you twice, right?
Yeah.
Were you surprised that Thompson called you out as opposed to him?
No, I'm not. I mean, who's the bigger fight?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there might be a belt on the line, but who's the bigger fight? How many eyeballs are gonna want to tune in to see Will Brooks fight? It's the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the numbers. That the guy doesn't really move the needle. And then you couple that with the fact that the guy is. I mean, when you talk about, we just got done talking about being a great employee. Whether you're a fighter, whether you're working for whatever company you are. I mean, he's the epitome of a bad employee. Just constantly trashing the promotion, constantly questioning the decisions that people are making, and constantly, quite frankly, whining. I'm this, I'm that. Why is he getting this and he's getting that? The fact that he came out and said something about Bellator doesn't care about the guys that they have on the roster. They only care about the new guys coming in. Man, I am the epitome of an OG in this Bellator division, right? I've been in this promotion since 2009, since I fought in front of 17 people on Fox Deportes, right? At 2 a.m. after a girls' high school softball game, that was the kind of slots we were getting on TV, and now here we are on Spike TV. I've been with this promotion since the dark days, and now I'm about to sign my second big deal with the promotion. Not many times in a guy's career does he get to sign one big deal with signing bonuses, incentives, and big numbers and this and that. Now I'm on my second, and I'm only 29 years old, and it's not necessarily the longest term deal that anybody's ever signed either. So it's a testament to being a great employee. But going back to him, I think I have earned my place as one of the most exciting fighters in Bellator, if not the most exciting fighter in Bellator. So you bring a guy like Josh Thompson, who's a fast-paced, hard-nosed guy, people are going to want to see me and him fight over, a slow-paced Will Brooks fight.
So is that next for you? Is Josh Thompson next?
I hope so. We'll see. I mean, I haven't heard yet.
Okay.
Him. At the end of the day, I don't think Josh called me out with any animosity. I think him and I are both respectful, but man, it's not his time. It's still my time. I'm just entering my prime. And I'm only going up, in my mind, he's been to where the peak of his career, and he's on his way down. So, we're meeting at the right time for me and the wrong time for him. So wherever it is, whenever it is, I'm ready to throw down, and I look forward to that fight, and I know the fans are as well.
Can I just say, I love this new Michael Chandler. Holy moly, you are on fire, my friend. This is incredible.
Hey, I just letting you know how it is, man.
Spitting fire, Michael Chandler. Wow.
Well, I'm just excited. I'm excited about. I'm excited about the future, and I'm excited about this game. It's the most exciting time of my life right now, and it's gonna translate into the cage as well. So.
All right, so where is home now? Like, where are we training these days? Are you going to stick with Power MMA? And if so, why did you leave Alliance? It seemed like things were going well there.
Well, home is San Diego. I'm here in San Diego with my wife, and we're taking some time off and still getting some training. Did my last camp at Power MMA. The biggest thing about leaving Alliance, it wasn't necessarily the lack of the lack of talent or the lack of greatness of the team of Alliance. It was, I've been with one guy since the very beginning of my career, and that's Neil Melanson. He is the head coach down in Florida now at the Black Zillions team, and he is the greatest coach in the world, both strategically and on the ground. And I have the most confidence under him and the most confidence with him. So that was one of the big reasons he left San Diego to go down to Florida. And I needed to make a change, and I have a great relationship there with the guys at Power MMA and in Arizona. So it was a perfect fit for me.
So wait a second. I'm not the smartest guy, but you say that Neil is the best coach. He's now in Florida. Does that mean that you are going to Florida to follow him?
No.
Okay.
No, that doesn't. I was really wanting to give him a pat on the back, because in my mind, since 2009, I have not, I wouldn't be where I am without that guy. He's an amazing coach. Therefore, I'm finally, after a decade in the sport. I mean, the guy, for him, a decade in this sport. He coached Randy Couture back in Randy Couture's heyday. The guy never got as much credit as he deserves. So I'm excited to see him starting to get some credit. And being able to produce champions and getting some recognition for it. So I wanted to give him a pat on the back and simultaneously tell you why the thing at Alliance kind of fell apart. So but they're doing it as well.
Why not follow him to Florida?
It's there's a lot more. Just like making the decision between Bellator and the UFC and this and that. There's a lot more extenuating circumstances than there is with contracts, whether it's just term and money, or whether with a coaching decision or a camp decision, whether or not it's just a certain coach or whatnot. So there's a lot of things that come into play. And I had a phenomenal training camp, last camp at Power MMA. Aaron Simpson, in my mind, is going to be a ton better coach than he was fighter. And he was a great fighter. He just has that, charisma about him. He has that, when you're with him, you feel like you're the only guy in the gym, and he's training just you, and he cares about just you, and he's a phenomenal motivator, and he's a phenomenal guy. And then you look at the team. I mean, Miles Jury and Johnny Case and those guys who came over from Alliance with me is phenomenal. And there's a guy by the name of Logan Storley, who's a 4-time All-American, 5-time state champion from the home city, or the home town of Brock Lesnar, that you need to be watching out for. His name's Logan Storley. He's a phenomenal training partner of mine. So it's a good situation, man. And life is good, and I got some phenomenal people around me.
In a perfect world, what would you prefer? Will Brooks number 3 next, or Josh Thompson?
Whatever Bellator wants, man. But in my mind, I'm already the champion. In my mind, having the belt doesn't really mean a ton to me. You ask anybody who the best lightweight in Bellator is, and they say it's me anyway. So it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter whether I have the belt or I don't have the belt. I'm going to get the belt, whether I beat Will Brooks next for it, or I beat him 3 fights from now, or I beat him in December of next year. It doesn't really matter to me. It's about beating people up and providing for my family and my future children. And that kind of stuff. So I'd love to beat up Josh Thompson next. That's the biggest fight. And let's be honest, he doesn't have a ton more fights left in him. So I'd love to be next for him.
Also, perfect world, when do you want to return?
Soon. I'm healthy and I'm feeling good. So I mean, I definitely would like to fight by April-ish, April, May. I've had some nice time to kind of relax and spend time with my wife, since I spent so much time away from her for the last camp. We're heading to Jamaica this Thursday on a mission trip, so we're going to get away from cell phones, get away from modern technology, all that kind of stuff. Go down there and serve, the people of Jamaica on a medical mission trip. I have no idea what I'm doing. My wife is a physician assistant, and my father-in-law is a dentist, so they're going to be performing all kinds of medical stuff, and I'm basically just going to be the fun, jolly dude running around playing soccer with the Jamaican kids.
Wow.
So we'll see.
For how long?
Yeah. It's 8 days, I believe.
Whoa.
So
no cell phone, no nothing. No communication with the outside world.
I don't think so.
Jeez. Good thing I got you on this week.
Yeah, I know, right? But it's going to be a bunch of, I'll bring it down a bunch of clothes, a bunch of workout gear, a bunch of, clothes that I have amassed over the, 10 different, clothing sponsorships and whatnot that the fighters go through, and you end up with extra apparel and extra gear and all that kind of stuff. Got a whole bag I'm checking just to bring down a bunch of clothes. So that's my contribution, since I know nothing about, medical stuff.
Well, you are a class act, my friend. Wow, what a performance this was. Blown away by this interview. I don't know if I want to call you the new Michael Chandler or not. Just a fired up Michael Chandler. Tremendous stuff. Congratulations on the new deal, and really looking forward to your next fight. If it's against Josh, Will, I don't know who. I'm just excited right now. That was great stuff. I'm happy we waited. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it as always, and I appreciate you having me on. So excited for the future.
All right, there he is, Michael Chandler, stopping by. Congratulations to him on his new contract, or he's about to sign a new contract with Bellator. He is on fire. Wow, that was tremendous stuff. Okay, let's move along. Let's stay in San Diego. Actually, we're being joined on the phone right now by one of the top contenders in the UFC's light heavyweight division. Alexander Gustafsson joins us on the phone right now. Alex, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining us. So you're in San Diego, and this was some big news when it came out. And it's interesting. I read an article, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong. I should have looked it up earlier. It was with an outlet in Sweden. Is it Expressen? Is that the name of the outlet? The newspaper, Expressen?
Yeah.
And it was a fascinating article to read. I had to translate it. Unfortunately, I don't speak Swedish, but you really kind of like poured your heart out. You really laid it all out on the table as far as, where you're at in your career. Why did you decide to? Usually guys, when they're at this point in their career, and we'll get to the reasons, they just kind of stay to themselves and, do their thing quietly. But you kind of laid it out there. Why did you do that?
I think it felt much better after I did it. So I wanted to get it out, and people are asking and wondering stuff, and so are my fans. So I just wanted to tell them how it is and how I feel. So,
so for those fans that don't speak Swedish, can you explain in short what you were saying in that interview? Where are you at mentally in your career right now?
It's I'm just feeling like I have a tough time with my motivation, and it goes from time to time. And some days it's better, some days it's a little bit worse. But I just tell them how it is, and how it is to be a fighter on this level, and that it's always tough with losses, and 2015 was a tough year for me. So that's why we did this interview, to just tell them how I felt and how I feel, and so on. But it felt much better after that, and now I'm here in San Diego. Changed my environment a little bit, training here with the guys, so I'm feeling good.
So no secret, I remember going. It was after the Rumble fight. You sort of talked about, maybe losing the love and retirement and things like that. And now it sounds like the same sort of feelings are coming back. Are you starting to get worried that you're not going to be able to regain that full love and motivation to train each and every day to become champion?
Well, I've been here before, and like you said, against Anthony, but it's hard to just go one day from another to being one of the best fighters in the world, to just stop doing what you love to do. So, I am a fighter, and that's basically what I do and what I live for. So, quitting is actually not an option if you put the cards on the table. It's just it's just emotions, feelings, thoughts, and that's what you have to battling with every day as an athlete.
So right now you're not considering retirement.
No, not at all. Just I just came out here to San Diego to just train with the guys, and I don't have a fight, nothing. So I just try to train, basics. Try to find that happiness in training again, and it will take the time it will take. So I'm feeling good now, and I'm just happy in training, basically.
When's the last time that you trained at Alliance in San Diego?
So a year ago.
And why did you decide at the time to not do the DC camp there, or at least go there for a little? Why did you decide to take a break from there?
No, it was more like we had a good structure. We have a good structure at the gym in Stockholm too, at All Stars. So it just felt good, and I went around a little bit, try to train with some guys I haven't trained with before, and good wrestlers. So that's why we decided to stay. But we, as always, Andreas is always talking to Eric, and even if I'm not here training, they're still around. So
Mm-hmm.
It was one of the best camps I had so far against DC.
I also read in that article, and correct me if I'm wrong, that it was in the 5th round of the DC fight that it kind of hit you that you didn't have that extra gear. Something was missing. Is that accurate?
Well, yeah, I just want to train because I love what I do, and sometimes it's tough because training is so hard. But it's still, when it comes down to the 5th round, 4th, 5th round, you just wanted to. You have to do it for the right reason. If you don't do it, if you don't have that happiness in you, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to motivate yourself in those hard rounds, last rounds.
Mm-hmm. And is this something that you felt against John Jones as well, or is this a new feeling?
No, it's more like a new feeling, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
It's been I had one good fight against John Jones, and the rest I lost. So it's been getting worse. That I'm losing that happiness in training and the motivation. So you just train because you have to train. It's not the right reason. You need to train because, like I said, it's not always shine and good feelings in training because you're doing, you go to the grind. But when it comes down to it, you need to have that happiness and that motivation for training. And that's why I'm feeling that I've been losing a bit by bit in that fight against John Jones. So, that's why I came out here to, I'm helping Phil a little bit for his fight and training with some of the guys I trained with before. I changed my environment a little bit more sun, and yeah. So I took my girl here, and so it feels good. It feels good to be back here and training.
Yeah, was that part of the? I mean, from what I understand, you're a very big star in Sweden. People recognize you when you walk. Did you need to get away from that a little bit and just kind of be left alone?
Well, maybe a little bit from that, from that hype and that, like, oh, when are your next fight, or like people, want to see me fight, basically. And so it's a good way for me to get here and train and get away from a little bit of everything. So it's not pressure, nothing. Just training and feeling good.
In hindsight, Alex, do you almost feel like it was a mistake to do the DC fight after the Rumble fight because you couldn't get a fight to sort of build your confidence back up, get a wind under your belt? You know what I mean? Like, do you almost feel like, of course you're going to take the title shot, but if you could do it differently, you would?
No, I wouldn't. No, it just felt right at the time, and it still feels right. I had the best camp, one of the best camps so far for that fight, and I felt great. So DC is a tough fighter, and he's he just came at me in the last rounds there, and it was a tight fight. So no, I don't want to change anything. It is what it is, and I lost that fight on split decision, and it's just about learning from that and getting better.
Do you watch that fight a lot?
No, I haven't watched that so much.
Have you watched it once?
No, I haven't actually.
Wow, that's interesting. How come? Is that typical for you, or does that one hurt more?
I don't know. I just feel like, it's just tough to watch, seeing yourself losing, and that was the same story with Johnson too. So, I need to, but I will watch it though.
Have you never watched the Johnson fight either?
Oh, yeah, I've seen it now, but it was the same day. It was tough to see it right away. So
right.
But I will see it.
So you've been in San Diego for a week now, and when this news came out, people are wondering, does that mean you're leaving All Stars and stuff? What's your status with All Stars?
It's good. It's still my gym. It's still my club, and I'm still with Andreas, and everything is in order as always.
Did you
Just
get?
that, I'm here now, and I'm going to be here for a couple of months. And like I said, I got my girl with me and everything. So, just feeling good, training with the guys, training with Phil and with Eric and Dominic and Andreas. I'm talking to him every day. So,
did they reach out to you to fight on the London card later this month against Rashad Evans?
No.
That never happened.
It's more like, I think it's more like, when I'm feeling ready, I'll, when I'm in peace and I feel good in training and everything, we're gonna look for a new challenge. So, but until then, I'm just gonna enjoy the training.
Okay, so for now, you're kind of taking a little break. Is there a chance that you don't fight at all in 2016?
No, I will fight. It's just beginning of the year, and I will fight. Just, I need just a little bit of time to get on my feet and get my mind right and my motivation and so on. I just want to fight for the right reason, basically.
Right.
So, but you will see me fight this year.
Have you had a chance to talk to Dominic since you've been? I mean, his story. There's no greater motivation than what he's done as of late. Did you get a chance to speak to him at all? Not so much about technical stuff, but just about overcoming and finding the love and things like that. He's such a brilliant mind, I think.
Yeah, he is, for sure. He is. I just met him today, actually, for the first time. So I'm at the gym now, and he's in the gym, actually. So, we had a good talk, and as always, he always comes with good advices. And like you said, I also think that he has a great mind on fighting, and he's a true inspiration. So it's good to have him around.
I also understand after this, you're going to go to Thailand. Is that accurate? Maybe?
Well, no. No, I don't. Let's see what happens. Right now, I'm just going to take some time here in San Diego, and and let's see what happens with Thailand. We've been talking a little bit of maybe training some Thai boxing over in Thailand to work with my knees, elbows, and kicks and stuff. But that's not on the table right now. Right now, I'm just here in San Diego, and I will be here for a while.
Is it possible whenever you get your next fight that you'll just do the entire camp now in San Diego?
Well, let's see what happens.
Okay.
Let's see what happens. I don't know, actually.
By the way, a guy who I think that you were close with on the team, Makwan Amirkhani, abruptly left the team. What happened there?
Well, I'm not too into that. I don't really know what happened. It was just, I don't want to get into that either because I don't know too much about it. So I don't want to I don't have all the information, so I can't talk about it. I'm sorry.
No, I understand. Are you still close with him, or have you stayed apart?
No, we stay apart. I haven't talked to him since he left. He's probably busy with his training and stuff, and so I don't have to talk to him too much. No.
Fair enough. And by the way, before I let you go, let me ask you, they just announced this past weekend that Jones is going to fight DC. We all knew that on April 23rd. You've been in the cage now with both of them. Who's your pick?
Well, it's hard for me to pick any one of them. I know DC is a beast. We all know Jones. He's one of the great fighters in the UFC today. So it's gonna be a tough one. Let's see what happens. I'm just too excited for that fight.
You're sitting on the fence. You don't want to pick a winner.
Well, let's say this. I want DC to win.
Oh, interesting. Why?
Yeah, because he's such a good guy. I like him.
Oh, okay.
He's a good guy.
You won. So maybe, is it fair to say your heart is with DC, but maybe your mind is with Jones?
Well, maybe a little bit in that direction.
Okay.
But, I just want DC to win that fight, but let's see what happens.
Okay.
Jones, he's one of the best fighters, so anything could happen.
Have you even allowed yourself to think about who you might want to fight in your return, or is it too soon for that?
No, it's too soon for that. I don't think too much about it. So.
Okay. So for now, you're at Alliance, just getting comfortable, loving the sun, I'm assuming, and the good weather. It's a much better life there, isn't it? With all due respect.
Oh, it is. Everything makes it so much easier.
Yeah, all right. Well, Alex, I appreciate the update. Thank you very much for the time, and good luck in training over there, and looking forward to your return, as always, whenever it comes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, there he is, Alexander Gustafsson, joining us from Alliance MMA in Chula Vista, California. An interesting time. Look, the guy's 29 years old, and you come off a couple of tough losses, different kind of losses. It was close against DC, not so much against Rumble, but tough losses, and sometimes you just need to take a step back and go back to a team that really helped put him on the map. Remember when he was training with Alliance, when he started to go there after the Phil Davis fight? That's when it all came together for Alexander Gustafsson. So it's an interesting time for the Mauler, and I'm curious to see how he returns. By the way, at the top of the show, I said that I'd have an update on BJ Penn. It sounds like he outscooped me. He went on his website, bjpenn.com, earlier today and gave an update about his fight. If you heard last week on UFC Tonight, I told you that he guaranteed that he'd be fighting March 5th, UFC 196. Well, things have changed. That's what I was going to tell you about. This is what he said to bjpenn.com. Quote, I thought the fight guaranteed was going to happen because the UFC, they set up medicals for me to do. I did the medicals, and they were sending a film crew down, and we were getting all that together, and I assumed we were setting up the fight, and that might have been what was happening. But at the end of the day, UFC matchmaker Sean Shelby called me and said it would be more convenient for all of us to move the fight to April 23rd. So plans have changed, a little more time for him. I'm of the thought that this is a good thing because it's a little more time, but I know that he wanted to get in there rather quickly because he's in Albuquerque, he's out of his comfort zone. He doesn't want to spend a long time there, but I think in the end that might be a silver lining. Let me see if he said anything else. Quote, you have heard what you feed the most grows the biggest, and I'm going to stay here and immerse myself in the martial arts and see how good I can get. That's another quote from BJ Penn. All the coaches glowing, all the coaches very happy, in particular Greg Jackson, who I've talked to. And as I reported last week, Dennis Seaver still appears to be atop the leaderboard. However, a major reason why the Nick Lentz fight wasn't happening was because Nick Lentz just wasn't healthy enough to fight on March 5th. Now with the change, does that mean that Nick Lentz has another chance to get the biggest fight of his career? When it was for March 5th, it seemed like it was a lock that it was going to be Dennis Seaver. But now it seems like, well, A, he's moved to April 23rd, and does that now bring in Nick Lentz back into the mix? It'll be interesting to see. But there you go. There's the update on BJ Penn. All right, let's stick in the featherweight division, and let's talk to one of the top contenders in said division. Chad Mendes joins us on the phone right now. Chad, how are you?
I'm good. Good to talk to you, Errol. How you been, man?
Yes, it has been a while. Thank you very much for joining us today. And it's interesting. Obviously we saw you in action in December. You've remained relatively quiet since then. Of course, it was not, things didn't go the way you planned, obviously. But any particular reason why you took a step back? Did you just feel like it was the right thing to do at this juncture? Why'd you do it?
Yeah, I just felt like it was. Plus, I just started a new business, Fins and Feathers. It's like a celebrity guide service.
Oh.
I've been putting a lot of time and energy and effort into that as well. So, a lot of people don't know, but we're done fighting. We don't get retirement. So you stop fighting, you stop making money. So I'm trying to get something going to where after I'm done fighting, I can continue to make money and survive and live off doing something I absolutely love to do. So me and a few of my good buddies all went in and started this business. So, that's what I've been putting a lot of time into after that fight. Obviously the fight, like you said, just didn't go my way. It was pretty damn bummed, honestly. I know I'm better than that. I know I can get in there and compete with a guy like Frankie. In my mind, I think I can beat him as well. So it's just going out there and getting caught like that early in the fight just freaking sucks, dude.
Okay, back to the business for a second. Did you say a celebrity guide business?
Yeah, so
what does that mean?
I'll just give you a quick rundown.
Yeah.
So basically what we have like a list of hunts. So clients can choose one of the hunting or fishing trips that we provide. We have stuff all over the place, New Zealand, Alberta, Canada, a lot of stuff here locally, Northern California, Utah. So we have stuff all over the place. They get to choose which one they want to go on. And then we have a list of like a celebrity pro staff list. There's about 10 or about 15 different professional athletes, actors. Client gets to choose which celebrity they want to go on that trip with them, and we line it up and make it happen. And then they have so basically what we do is subcontract out professional guides that already have businesses up and running, have reputable business. So we team up with those guys, and the celebrity and the client gets to go hunt or fish with them on their boat or their ranch. So it's something that's unique and different. No one's really doing that in the industry yet. And like I said, I'm a huge outdoorsman. I love being in the woods. I love fishing. I love hunting. I mean, we've talked about this on past shows before. So, it's what I love. It's who I am. So being able to come up with some kind of way to provide that service to people that are interested in it, being able to hunt, fish, be out in the outdoors and make a living is something I want to do.
So what kind of celebrities are we talking about?
We have a lot of UFC people. We have, like I said, some actors. We have pro baseball players, basketball players, professional shooters, PBR riders. And we just got a crazy mix of all kinds of different people.
How much does something like this cost?
I don't think so. The thing is, Connor, I didn't take like a ton of damage in that fight. He caught me with one punch that flashed me. It didn't even knock me out cold or anything. It's like that happens in practice through training camps multiple times throughout a camp. So I don't think that was, anything that had anything to do with it. But, you never know. You do start getting flashed one right after another, and it starts happening easier and easier. So, it's a possibility, but I don't think that's what it was.
And how about, no secret, it seems like it's a state of transition at Alpha Male these days. How much of a factor is that where, there's a little bit of drama, some coaching changes, things like that? Is any of that affecting you negatively?
Obviously it's something that sucks to deal with. This is an issue we've been dealing with for a little bit now. It's tough being a part of it, but, the sport is still relatively a new sport. We still have just a lot to deal with as far as coaching goes. A lot of the coaches that are solid, that have fought in the UFC or, have a great system, already have a team, you know what I mean? So it's tough for us in this position trying to find that perfect fit, someone that's done it, someone that's, reputable, someone that's not absolutely insane. There's just a lot of factors that go into it. As of right now, we have Justin Buckles, who's always been an amazing coach and cornerman. He's always been the type of guy that I loved having in my corner. You guys have seen I've had him in my corner a lot of the times. He's a brainiac in there. So that's awesome. But we just locked that up. Going through this last fight camp, we didn't have a coach really that was ours. We had a couple people coming in and just people in and out of the gym all the time trying to coach us, and it's like, I don't even know who you are. I have no, respect as far as that goes as being my mentor. So it's difficult, man. This is something we're going to work on. We're going to figure it out. I have faith in Faber and these guys as to what's going to happen for the team. But as of right now, and getting better by. by him and, just keep moving forward.
Obviously, we just saw Benavidez pick up a big win this weekend. Seems like he's been doing some training with Bang again. Are you considering that as well?
I mean, I'm not considering it, no, but I don't have anything against these guys that want to go over there and train. I mean, there's a lot of negativity and stuff being said back and forth and people getting frustrated. And it's like, everyone's a grown-ass adult. Like, people can make their own decisions and do what they want. I know what I need to do and I know what I'm going to do. And, that's really all that matters in my life right now.
So why, because you had success with Bang, why won't you consider it?
I just feel like there's just too much drama between everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have anything against Bang. Like, there's nothing in my mind that makes me hate the guy or anything like that. I just feel like with him, Faber, the whole drama thing, it's not worth me getting in the middle of it.
Is it possible that you're just loyal towards Faber? He's the guy who brought you in. Like, if you had to choose at the end of the day, that's who you're going to side with?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I have loyalty. I love Faber, but like I said, if these guys feel like this is what it takes for them to get better, like, I don't feel like it's a loyalty thing. I mean, that's them trying to better their lives. Like, that's what they feel like they need. It sucks, like, being in the middle of it. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's nothing that I hold against any of those guys. I don't hold anything against Bang. I am loyal to Faber. I love Faber like my brother, but I just basically want to stay away from that whole drama set.
Is that hard because you are one of the faces of the team and it just it's like this black cloud that continues to trail you guys? Is it hard to get away from that?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's difficult. And like I said, it's something that it's stressful. It stresses me out. I don't like being a part of it. Like, I love doing this as a sport. I got into this because I wanted to compete. And when all this stuff gets thrown into it, it's not fun for me. And so, it's something that I just don't want to be a part of.
Do you talk to I have to admit, I said this last week, one of my least favorite stories in MMA right now is this sort of passive aggressiveness with the tweets and the muscle farm stuff, and like they throw out one message and then the other guys. It's just like, why? I don't know why it can't just be a clean break, or guys can just. Yeah. Do you agree with what I'm saying there?
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and that's one of the things that stresses me out because one group does something and then the other person's pissed off, and then these people are pissed, and then these people are pissed, and it's like I have to hear both sides, and it's like, dude, you guys are both doing this to each other. Like, just end it. It's fine. Like, go on with our lives. Like, we don't have to hate each other. We can all still be friends. Like, I just don't want to be a part of this.
Did you tell maybe like the Faber, like maybe we should stop talking? Like, is there like a message out that no one's? I know I'm talking to you about it right now, but this is kind of first. Do you guys just want to stop? Feeding it? Maybe between those two guys, it's hard to control Bang, but on Faber's side.
Yeah, I mean both sides. I mean, I could talk to both sides, and I mean it's definitely something that has to be done. But at the same time, like, I still want to be friends with everybody. It's like I've been with all these guys as teammates for the entire career that I've been in MMA, and it's like I don't want to just not talk to them. You know what I mean? Like TJ is one of our pro staff members. So is Faber. Like, these guys can go on trips with clients, and it's like I don't want there to be like all kinds of hate between the two, and you know what I mean? Like, it's frustrating trying to do things in normal life with all this drama going on, and it's like it sucks because all the media wants to talk about it because it's something that's interesting and different, and so that obviously doesn't help because now we get a lot of attention drawn on it, so then everyone keeps talking about it, and it's just a vicious circle.
So as you said earlier, is Buckles the new head coach? Is that official?
Yeah, Buckles at Team Alpha Males right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Him and Chris Holdsworth, yeah.
So is Chris done fighting, or is he just kind of doing both until he can get clear?
I'm not sure if he's announced if he has completely done fighting or not. Okay. I think he's still training and everything, so I haven't heard that he's completely done, no.
Okay. But I do hear that he's a fantastic coach. He's a great mind.
Oh, yeah. Both those guys. I mean, they're both very smart at the game. Chris is a thinker. I mean, he's very good at jiu-jitsu. His ground game is amazing. And Buckles obviously fought in UFC, and he's been through corners, tons of corners, seen, different styles, fought different types of guys. So he's the type of guy that's awesome to have there, coaching, because he's so quick-witted. He's so just, I guess, skilled in the sport of it, so that he knows, he can pick things up faster than most people can in a corner. Like in between rounds, you guys have heard his cornering. Like, this is, this guy's doing this. You got to do this. Like a lot of guys can't do that. A lot of guys come back to the corner and they're like, all right, you're doing great. Keep that up. You know what I mean? So Buckles is the type of guy that can pinpoint things and find things going wrong or right within a round and tell you that, which is, I think, key as far as a corner and a head coach.
Is a part of you deep down happy that it's not going to be TJ and Faber, because then this drama would have exploded?
Yeah, I'm pretty glad that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that would have been insanity.
I don't know if I could even watch the fight, honestly.
Really?
That's something I really want to see now.
All right, so you're still cool with TJ?
Of course.
Yeah. And then it just would have brought more attention and more drama on you guys as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, before I let you go, I understand you're going to Utah for a different. What's going on there?
We have it's a big hunting expo, one of the biggest ones of the year. So basically, Fins and Feathers has a booth there. So if anyone's in the area, we'll be there signing autographs. If anyone wants to come take a look at the hunts and maybe book one with me or any of our athletes or celebrities, feel free to stop by. It's in Salt Lake City.
Okay.
And we'll be there Thursday through Sunday.
And where can people find more information if they're in the area?
You can look us up on finsandfeathers.com.
Okay.
We have a bunch of info on there. But other than that, it's I know that the Western Hunter and Conservation Expo has a website with all the dates and times and everything. So people can probably just log on to that and check it out. And
finally, before I let you go, when have you started to think about when you would like to return? Has that started to creep into your mind?
Obviously, I want to take a little bit of time off right now and get this business up and running, couple months, and then in the meantime, I'm just training, staying sharp, and then we'll get back after it. So, obviously, I don't have like an exact date. I got to talk to the UFC and see, when they're thinking, who they're thinking, and then we'll kind of game plan it from there.
What about opponent? Have you thought about that?
I haven't, man.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. We just got to talk to UFC and kind of just see what they think, what path I'm on, where I'm going, and just go from there.
And by the way, what an asshole I am, leaving this for the last question of the or the last statement or whatever you want to call it. Mazel tov to you. You got engaged, right?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I just got engaged. Abby Raines in Maui this last week. It was so awesome, man.
Wow. I saw a picture of you dropping down to one knee. Is there a great story there? What did you do?
Yeah, so I had a group of our closest buddies, my buddies and then their girlfriends, which are like some of her best friends as well. We planned a trip, and we actually hid it from all the girls because we didn't want the girls gossiping and slipping. So it was all the guys that knew about it, but none of the girls.
Oh.
And so it was on the beach one of the first nights that everybody was there together. We waited till the sun set and basically pulled it onto the beach and got on the knee and asked. We had a bunch of locals there that we had planned some stuff with a couple nights before, and they had like music all set up for us. We had our own private fire dancer that did like a fire dance for us on the beach, and it was a lot of fun, man. She loved it. I loved it. It was cool.
Amazing. Well done. Now, when are you getting married?
We don't have a date yet, but probably sometime next year.
Okay. I think I'm free, just to let you know.
You going to be there?
Well, it's up to you. If you want to send me a save the date, we'll see if I can make some time. Chad, appreciate the time, man. Thank you very much. Wish you the best. Good luck with the new company. Good luck in Utah this weekend. If you're out there, anyone listening, definitely go check out Chad. I like when you wear the full outfit. I see you with the camouflage. You got the belt on. You got you're a real man. Like every time I see one of those pictures, I feel like such a puny loser. Like I just feel like.
Come on.
Yes.
If you ever want to learn how to do any of them trips, just hit me up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be the celebrity.
Yeah,
have I reached?
For sure.
Okay, fine.
I'm sure there's people that would want to come on a trip with old Ariel. Maybe we could do a fishing trip with you.
I'm afraid though that they might turn the gun on me.
No, that's what I mean. We'll keep it to fishing.
Do you do fly fishing? I've always been interested in that.
I have a little bit when I was younger, but I haven't done it so much as an adult. I'd like to though. It looks awesome.
Yes.
We have some awesome spots up here in Northern California too.
I want to wear the overalls and the boots, the whole thing.
Oh yeah, Danny Castillo even got into that a little bit.
Oh.
I think he posted a picture of him in all that whole gear, the overalls, the
I love it.
funny looking hat. Oh yeah.
All right.
Fly rod. That was cool.
Well, I wish you the best, my man. Thank you for the time, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks, Ariel.
All right, there he is. Chad Mendes, always a pleasure to talk to Money Mendes on the program. Okay, let's go. Y'all must have forgot one of my favorite segments. Sometimes it gets ignored. Sometimes it doesn't. This week, it doesn't. How about that? So, Wonderboy Thompson, star of the weekend, unbelievable performance. He is now very much in that title picture. Let's go back to February of 2012. Let's go to UFC 143, his amazing debut. What a debut it was against Dan Stigen. Remember that? That head kick knockout? Well, I got the chance to talk to him afterwards. He won knockout of the night, by the way, that night. That was February 4th, 2012. I got to talk to him afterwards about the debut and the successful debut, to be more exact. And it's always fun to look back at those first interviews, especially when a guy is knocking on that title shot door. So here it is. Y'all must have forgot Wonderboy Thompson's debut, February 4th, 2012. My interview with him afterwards. A fun look back at a rising star in the UFC. Ariel Helwani post-fight at UFC 143 alongside Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who picked up his very first UFC win tonight via spectacular head kick KO. And what a way to kick off your UFC career. Could you have dreamt anything better than this?
No, man. I mean, when I got the call to fight for UFC, it was a dream come true, man. And it's one of those things that I couldn't stop to think, hey, should I do this or should I not? I had to jump on it, and here I am.
So for the record, you have now won 63 straight fights. That includes amateur, MMA, and kickboxing, right?
Yes, 63. I've been in the fight game or in the martial arts since I was 3 years old. So for a while now.
When was the last time you lost any kind of combat sports match?
Man, probably when I was in my teens. I fought in a lot of karate tournaments. It was like every weekend where we came from. So I probably lost the majority of my tournaments. I don't think I even won one. But, I kept my head up, stayed positive, kept training, and here we are.
Do you even remember what it feels like to lose now?
Man, yeah. I mean, because, in training, that's where you actually get out there and you lose, That's where you should do your losing, is in training. So I got some great guys I train with back home in Simpsonville at Upstate Karate, and they put it on me. They showed no respect.
Yeah, so tell us, just in the hours leading up to the fight, did you feel any extra nerves there because this was your UFC debut? You've been around combat sports a long time, but was it at all different?
Oh, definitely. And, I fought all around the world, but there's nothing like the UFC. I mean, the UFC is the top promotion, the best promotion. And, knowing that, the arena is going to be full and you got millions of people watching around the world, yeah, you get jitters, but you got to learn to suppress it and, stay positive, think about what you're going to do when you get out there.
It ended very well, obviously, but overall, were you happy with your performance?
Definitely. I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive in the beginning, but I knew that this guy I was fighting, Dan Stigen, was a ground guy. So I knew he was going to set up his strikes to shoot in to take me down. So I took my time, kept my distance, and just and like I say, I waited on the right moment.
Speaking of the ground game, how is it for you?
Oh, getting better every day. I got the best coaches. My wrestling coach, Thomas Lee, and my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu coach, Carlos Machado, who's one of the best guys out there. And, it's getting better every day.
Were you looking for the head kick KO?
You know what? When I fight guys, I actually, the kick that I do is a lead leg round kick. And not a whole lot of people see it coming. And I like to throw it after they throw a technique. That way it comes over the shoulder and they don't see it. So I was looking for it. But if it didn't work, I had something else up my sleeve. So.
What was it?
That's a secret. I can't really tell.
For the next one.
Yes, watch the next one.
All right. Well, congratulations on your big UFC debut win, and looking forward to much more from Wonderboy. By the way, where does that nickname come from?
You know what? Back in the day when I was younger, I used to dance and sing around all the time. They called me Stevie Wonder, and once I started fighting, I looked like a little kid. So they were like, "Man, I wonder why everybody gets in the ring with this boy." So they started calling me Wonder Boy. So
you gonna dance and sing tonight?
No, not tonight. No,
not tonight. No celebration.
Probably behind closed doors. But
I didn't mean right now. I just meant like when you're celebrating at night.
Definitely.
You're in Vegas.
We're definitely gonna be doing some celebrating tonight.
All right. Well, enjoy it and good luck next time out. Congrats on the big win.
Thank you very much.
There he is, Wonderboy Thompson. What a mensch, that Wonderboy. So smiley, so polite. Just a pleasure to talk to. A real role model, in my opinion. Like one of those guys that I think the UFC should actually do a better job of pushing, because he is so much fun to watch. He really is like a superhero. I mean, those kicks. I mean, that's incredible. What he did in that cage against Johnny Hendricks, a former champion, a guy who lost a super close split decision to GSP, lost another super close decision to Robbie Lawler at UFC 181. Wonderboy Thompson, like if you ask me right now, all right, pick 3-4 guys that you had to pay to watch, like you had no problem paying $200, getting a ticket and watching in person. Wonderboy is up there. It's unbelievable what he does. Those kicks, the punches, how quick he is on his feet, elusive. What a joy. That was a real coming out party. What he did to Ellenberger was fantastic. The knockout here back in 2012, fantastic. But to do what he did against a guy like Johnny Hendricks, nothing short of amazing. It's going to be interesting to see what the UFC does with him. By the way, that website, if you want to learn more about the expo that Chad Mendes is at, is called it's www.huntexpo.com. Huntexpo.com is the website if you're going to be in the area. By the way, speaking of UFC Fight Night 82, I did check in with Noad Lahat yesterday. He told me that the only serious injury that he suffered was a scratched cornea. Remember in the early portion of the first round, he actually got poked in the eye by Diego Rivas. Ended up having a tremendous first round. You can make a case that it was a 10-8 for Noad Lahat. And then, of course, he gets knocked out in vicious fashion. That was scary. Second round, flying knee. The only man, how about this? The only man in the history of UFC, WEC, Strikeforce, or Pride to lose twice via flying knee knockout, I should say. The only man in UFC, WC, Strikeforce, and Pride history to lose twice via flying knee KO. Brutal knockouts. He was actually on the ground for an extended period of time. That's why they didn't interview Diego Rivas. It just did not seem right. 100% the right call, in my opinion. And then they brought in this backboard for him. He finally regained his bearings and said, you know what, I don't want to use it. Bob Cook and a security guard helped him out. They took him to the back. They checked him out. Then they sent him to the hospital, and he just walked out on his own. He even talked to me for a brief moment, and he got checked out there. And he told me last night that he's just upset about the loss, but no serious injuries other than a scratched cornea, which is a serious deal. But I was thinking, the broken orbital, I don't know, something, broken nose. It was tough to watch. For a card that was somewhat lacking in star power, a lot of significant things happened. I mean, a lot of things that really stood out. Alex White defeating Artem Lobov. Artem just could not get off at all. Said a lot of things about Alex. This is the problem with putting down your opponent before a fight. Then when you lose them, it just makes it look worse. I'm always of the thinking of propping up your opponent, making them seem bigger, because then when you beat them, it looks even bigger. And when you lose to them, well, you just lost to a great guy. Of course, Mickey Gall winning, that couldn't have worked out better for the UFC. What a performance. I mean, the 45 seconds, they couldn't have scripted that any better. Perfect for them. That's the guy that they wanted. So now he gets CM Punk. Told you about Rivas. How about Justin Scoggins with an amazing win and then getting on the mic and calling out Sean Shelby? I come to learn afterwards that maybe he wasn't 100% accurate as far as being on the sidelines for too long. I saw some emails and whatnot that he was a little bit banged up and couldn't get in there, essentially up until like mid-December, I think, maybe early January. Regardless, that's a name to remember. Derek Lewis with his terrifying, frightening, scary, whatever word you want to use, celebration, and a great win as well. I think it was Casey, our videographer, who debuted on the show last week. He said this to me afterwards. How about Derek Lewis versus Roy Nelson next? Derek Lewis wants to be on the main card. Roy's fought a lot of those guys. He hasn't fought Derek Lewis. I think that'd be a fun fight. Josh Berkman picking up his first win at 155 pounds. He dropped an incredible amount of weight in 24 hours. I think he said 18 pounds in 24 hours. That's actually kind of scary. And in this day and age with the California State Athletic Commission now banning IVs, USADA banning IVs, 18 pounds in 24 hours is a scary thing. By the way, I believe he wants to be known as Joshua Berkman now. He defeated KJ Noons via unanimous decision. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that. In this day and age, you're not seeing a lot of veterans going down to 155. Or I should say, just moving weight classes down. You're seeing a lot of guys going up because of the new, the new protocols and whatnot, but not going down. Mike Pyle snapping the first 2-fight losing streak of his career, defeating Sean Spencer. Misha Serkinov of Latvia, now Canada. The group that put out a rap song about the legendary Kristaps Porzingis, also making one about Misha Serkinov, breaking Alex Nicholson's jaw. That was hard to watch. 24 hours after Nicholson got engaged on the weigh-in stage. Do you hear that pop? It's disgusting. Joseph Benavidez defeating Zach Makovsky over in St. Preux against Fei Zhao. Then as the night kind of went along there in the main card, it was a little bit dull. Nelson against Rothwell, we talked about that. And, of course, Wonderboy Thompson getting a big win over Johnny Hendricks. Where does Hendricks go from here? That is a big question as well. All right, in a minute, we actually had to switch things up. We're going to be joined by Malki Kawa and Yoel Romero. Let me just make note of that. What's going on with my stream here? Is it doing any better? I think it's a little choppy. But I think the audio is okay. And perhaps that's most important, right? Let me alert the masses of the switch. Yoel Romero. I'll tell you, again, last week, and Malki Kawa. So a lot going on in the world of Yoel Romero. We'll talk to him about the drug test, where he goes from here. Also, we'll ask Malki briefly about the John Jones situation that has come up this morning. But I appreciate everyone in your comments when you write. I'll tell you something. Nothing. If you want to get blocked 100% on Twitter, like if that's your goal, just when I put out the lineup for the MMA Hour on Sunday afternoon, if you reply all and include everyone's handles, and say that this is a crap show or something negative about the lineup, that is instantaneous. I don't care if you're my sister, you're getting blocked. So don't come crawling back to me or New York Rick or anyone else and ask why. You know why now. You're getting blocked 100%. And if you're going to say something kind of negative or snarky or just annoying about the stream, the work that we do, you're just going to get blocked. That's it. It's over. Zero tolerance policy. I wish I had that Daniel Cormier picture. And then it's just not needed. There's no room for it. So now I've told you, it's on you. I'm sure many people are going to do it because that's just the way people are these days. But just letting you know, it's happening. You're getting blocked. No ifs, ands, or buts. You write those things, it's done. That's it. Zero tolerance. We're done. We're like the USADA of podcasts. And how about a special shout out to the people on YouTube, the YouTube commenters? What a special bunch those people are, huh? As I said, UFC on Fox 19. I think I called the last show UFC on Fox 19. The one coming up on April 16th, that's UFC on Fox 19, as we were talking about with Eddie Alvarez. That was officially announced this weekend as well. Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Tony Ferguson. Main event, Rashad Evans versus Shogun Rua. I love that fight. I think that fight makes too much sense. It's perfect for both guys. Love it. Remember, we were supposed to see that fight at UFC 128, and Rashad pulled out, injured. John Jones steps in. The rest is history. So now we're finally getting it. Rashad Evans, Shogun Rua. That's UFC on Fox 19. Dan Henderson versus Lyoto Machida. I'm not sure about that one. Their first fight didn't light the world on fire. That was UFC 157. I understand both guys don't have a lot going on, not many options at this stage of their careers, but I don't know about that one. Doesn't excite me as much. A rematch that does excite me, though, how about that segue? Rose Namajunas versus Tisha Torres. That's also happening, UFC on Fox 19. All this going down, by the way, in Tampa Bay, Florida. My first time going to Tampa Bay, so I can scout the arena over there. The stadium, the Tropicana Field Stadium. and see just how bad it is. And, you know, the future Montreal Expos, that's where they play. Also, Beneil Dariush, Michael Chiesa, that's going on. They announced a few other fights for 196. Actually, they didn't announce them, but Shevchenko's fighting. Shevchenko is fighting Amanda Nunes, Tom Lawler, Corey Anderson. And they were hoping to announce a fifth fight on that main card. That wasn't BJ. I had heard that BJ wasn't going to be on the pay-per-view card, and that makes sense to me. But as of right now, they have not been able to fill out that fifth card on the UFC on Fox. Excuse me, the UFC 197. UFC 196. I'm getting all confused with these numbers now because this past weekend was supposed to be 196, but it turned into UFC Fight Night 82. So now 196 is March 5th. 197 is April 23rd. That's Jones, DC. And Fox 19 is April 16th. Okay. New York Rick is working very hard back there. So let's now switch things up and go to the man who will be co-headlining UFC 197 on April 23rd. The man who will be facing Demetrius Johnson for the UFC flyweight title, the gold medalist himself. Henry Cejudo is on the phone. Henry, how are you?
I'm doing pretty well, Ariel. How about yourself, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on a little early. So, all right, so you got the title fight. Was this a surprise at all, or did you know that after you won in November that it was all yours?
It's no surprise. I believe it's you know, he's fought Benavidez. He's fought everybody pretty much. I think and plus he's been calling me out even before he fought Dodson. So I think it's ideal. I'm a gold medalist. He wants to fight me. I want to fight him. I'm not surprised at all.
I've been I follow you on Instagram, social media, and you've been traveling a lot. I think you were at the Olympic Training Center. You were in Singapore. Were you in the Middle East as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I went out to the Olympic Training Center for about a month, training with the world class athlete program in the Army, and also with Matt Lindner for just brushing up on my clinch and my takedowns and whatnot, getting back to the roots where, you know, obviously wrestling is king. So I did that, and then I went to Evolve for a few weeks out there with, you know, the best world champions in Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu. So, you know, I've been soaking all this stuff up, man. It's been a very fun last 2 months.
So where are you going to do this camp?
The camp, I'm gonna. It's to be announced. Everything depends on the media obligation that the UFC has. But one option is to go to Evolve, and the other option is obviously to stay home here at Fight Ready MMA.
What are you leaning towards?
I think they're both good plans. Either bring some people in if I decide to stay here, or we're going to decide by the end of this week what's going to happen, or shoot out to Evolve and continue to brush up on my stand-up and my ground game. Okay,
so you're 10-0, obviously perfect in the UFC. You've only been fighting since March of 2013. MMA, of course, you've been wrestling your essentially your entire life. Is this coming at the right time? Do you wish in a perfect world? I mean, no secret that flyweight isn't the deepest weight class. You're 100%, in my opinion, the number one contender. It's a fresh matchup. It's an interesting matchup. It's a sellable matchup. But is this coming at the right time for you?
Oh, absolutely, man. I believe it's all in God's plan. I believe things happen for a reason, or sometimes I tend to create things. It's either negative or positive. But I feel like the thing that people don't know about it, I actually boxed amateur for a few years, and I competed in amateur competition. So when people see my hands, I'm not just your MMA fighter. I took my time with the sport of MMA. I wrestled, won the Olympics. I boxed for 3 years. I'm on the Copper Glove Tiger in Arizona. This is a big box. And then from there, it's there's no surprise there is what I'm saying. Obviously, I'm 10-0. And I do believe I'm going to beat Demetrius Johnson. I do believe I have to stand up. My defense is on point, and I'm going to fight him accordingly.
All right. So when you watch him now,
call me the mousetrap.
I like it. I like that. I'm surprised no one's used that before. Well done. What
No,
are the?
I got it from Captain Eric Alvarez. He's actually sitting right next to me right now.
You know
But
what?
he's kind of insulated a little bit. What's up, Mario?
There, you see, I should have known. One of the brilliant minds in the sport, the brains behind Betch Kohei's Four Horsewomen campaign, has done great work with the. I mean, this guy. I don't know about his. By the way, to be honest, I don't know about any of his skills as far as training, coaching, but just trash talking. You got one leg up now just because you have him, by your side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, actually, Eric is one of my he's one of my mentors. He's actually one of my coaches. He's gonna be one of the coaches in my corner when I fight Demetrius. A lot of people don't know this, but he's kind of he was short of making the Olympic team in 1996. I mean, he's been around the best athletes in the world, and he's somebody extremely crucial and important for me to have in my corner. But yeah, he does. I always tell him he should be like a WWE promoter.
Okay, so when you guys look at DJ right now, I mean, he's been perfect as a flyweight. What are the holes that you're going to exploit in his game?
Well, the way I see it, Ariel, and I'm not going to give my game plan away. I will say this: he's good at in every area. He transitions very well, and he understands distance. So it's not so much of his speed, but it's the mouse understands distance. He understands. He knows his style of fight. And me, the way I see this fight is, man, I am a student of this game. I will fight people accordingly. I have no pride whatsoever. I'm going to fight him a certain way, and if he switches it up on me, I'm not the type of person that will adapt. I do believe, and I know I'm a strong. I hit harder. I'm a better athlete. So I have every tool what it takes. I'm surprised how many people are actually doubted me. I know the ones that know me, that truly know me, like the Cormier or people that have seen me perform. And I will shine when the light is bright. Believe me, there's not a human being on this planet that truly knows and say, "Hey, this kid's a blue." I'm not like that, Ariel. You put the limelight on me. You can put me on the center stage, and I will perform. I'm excited more than anything. I'm excited because, man, this is like the Olympics all over again. A lot of people didn't believe in me. A lot of people, 98% of the people didn't believe in me. 99. But I had my coaches, I had my brother, and myself. There's only 3 people really that truly believed that I could have done it. And I went from 31st in the world to first. So count me out again, baby. I love it.
Speaking of Cormier, how do you feel about the fact that they paired you guys up together? I think that, personally, I think it's brilliant. The 2 Olympians side by side once again. One's a champion, one's the challenger. How do you feel about this card that you've been put on?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's awesome. I just hope John Jones can make it to April 23rd. But I believe it's good. I'm a big fan of John Jones too. This is, if you really look at it, Ariel, this is the toughest card anybody has really put together. I mean, you have, a lot of people call Demetrius or John Jones pound for pound, and they're going up against 2 elite athletes. You got Daniel Cormier, 2-time Olympian, and obviously you got myself, who was an Olympic champion. So this is, it's almost like MMA versus the Olympics now.
Oh.
Obviously, we all come from a wrestling background, and I think that shows like how tough the sport of wrestling is, and the better fighters are going to win because it's not going to come down to wrestling. It's going to come down to who can put things together, the best who can fight accordingly.
I don't know how much you paid attention to this past weekend, but Joseph Benavidez picked up a win over Zach Makovsky. Afterwards, obviously he was busy. He was walking out, but they announced actually your fight right before his fight, and afterwards he didn't get the memo, and he said that he'd like to fight you. Then when he was told that you were getting the shot, he said multiple times that you didn't deserve the title fight. What's your response to that?
Man, I think, he's going to get it, man. There's not too many people. And I actually went up to him earlier in Mexico City, and I went up to him and I shook his hand. And I said, this is right after my Chico Canis fight. I said, hey, man, I think it would be, I came up to him. I know a lot of people think he's calling me out, and you can ask him, and I can put this on my family, on my faith. I went up to him and I shook his hand and said, hey, dude, I would love to fight you. And I said, I would love to fight you, not in a 3-round fight, but in a 5-round fight for a main event. You see, I don't like to open my mouth a lot, Ariel, because Man, because I'll be honest with you, man. Dude, I come from the streets. I come from like a certain part of the ghetto here in Phoenix. I'm a good shit talker, but I'm really trying to compose myself a little bit. But
let it go.
I think he's very disrespectful. And right now, Demetrius Johnson's on my mind, and I know I'm going to beat him, Ariel. And I feel like I'm a good matchup for Joseph Benavidez. I think his biggest strength is his heart, and I admire that. He's a really tough human being. Technically, I don't think he's that sound. I'm a faster, sharper version of what he is, and I'm crisper. I'm faster, and I'm just as mentally strong. So I will give him that. He is one strong human being. But, man, it's going to come down a little more to that. Watch me punch, watch me punch. Watch him kick, watch me kick. It's different. I let you break things down, but his time is coming. His time is coming, and first of all, I'm excited for Demetrius. But I think second of all, I think it's kind of disrespectful that he keeps because I've never said anything to the man. But when I fight him, it's going to be personal.
Did you watch his fight? And if so, what do you think of his performance?
I think the third round looked good. I think like I said, man, he's got flaws, man, like everybody else. But like I said, I feel like I'm just too fast for him. I think Makovsky has a style to beat him, but I feel like he got tired, and Henry Cejudo wouldn't get tired. If anything, I get better throughout the round. I can mix up my wrestling.
Now, also, this came up. You're fighting in Nevada. Of course, you've had your issues with Nevada. Have those been dropped now that the suspension has been reduced?
Oh, no, absolutely. We protested and we won, Ariel. We won. I mean, if somebody like myself or the people if the fighters didn't get together, Nick Diaz would be out for 5 years. And, I'm still a little upset the fact that they suspended him $100,000.
Yeah.
But at least they're given an opportunity to make that money again. So
do you feel
it's about the message, man? I'm the messenger, so I'm just here to help. I'm here to beat people up and inspire the world. As corny as that sounds.
Well, do you feel like they're going to try to get you because you were so critical of them? Are you? I mean, do you have any concerns about fighting in Nevada?
No concerns. At first, I was a little concerned with the split decision that happened in Monterrey, Mexico. I'm like, whoa, I just controlled that. I know I fought conservative, but there's a reason to that because I knew I could beat Formiga regardless. But when it comes to Demetrius, it's gonna be a whole new ball game. But I train to dominate, Ariel, and that's what I'm going to do against Demetrius because I know a lot of people need to fond of me. But I'm going to have to go in there and display the fact that I'm going to have to, put my wrath in this fight.
You say the word conservative, and a light bulb goes off in my mind. Some have compared this fight to a degree, like you've been fighting a certain way, Holly Holm was fighting a certain way, and then she gets in the title fight and she blows, the roof off the place. Is it possible that Henry Cejudo has just been holding back just a little bit because you knew you were going to fight for the belt and you didn't want to show your cards? Is that possible?
Dan Henderson has an H-bomb come April 23rd. I will be debuting the R-bomb. R-bomb.
What is the R-bomb?
Which is the rodent bomb.
The what bomb?
The rodent bomb.
Oh my! So you're expecting to knock him out?
It's Eric, man. Eric is instigated. He's on my side here.
No, you gotta own that, my man. Real. You gotta own that. You're expecting to knock out Demetrius Johnson. That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I believe. Obviously, I'm ready for a 5-round. I'm ready for a 5-round fight, but I believe I connect. You're gonna feel it, man. It's like how Holly Holmes told Ronda. It's like, hey, what's the difference between you and every other girl that she's beat? The simple answer, what she says, I'm just a different athlete. I'm just a different girl. And I feel like this is kind of like, that's kind of how I feel. I'm just a different athlete. I'm a different breed. And you guys will see that. You'll feel it.
Is it fair to say DJ's never fought anyone like Henry Cejudo?
I think so. Wow. He's fought some tough competition, and he's lost. He's lost a dominant team. But like I said, man, I think our styles are gonna mesh very, very well. He's gonna run. He's gonna kick. He's gonna probably try to kick my front leg, or even possibly take me down. I doubt he'd try to pressure me. But we're ready for every angle that he brings to the table.
Are you sort of banking on the fact that this is a guy who's been so dominant as of late that like maybe he's resting on his laurels? He's getting a little more popular. He's got the T-shirt now, the beard, the Twitch thing. Are you you feel like maybe you can catch him here and really test the guy who hasn't really been tested as of late?
Absolutely. But what I don't want, Ariel, is I don't want excuses. When I beat him, I don't want excuses that, my shirt, my beard, and people were pulling me over here, pulling me over there. No, you're fighting an undefeated fighter. He's an elite fighter, and showcase. Come on, man. Like this is a fight. This isn't. You're not fighting Benavidez. You're not fighting. You're not fighting Haraguchi. You're fighting Henry Cejudo, a really strong-willed human being that can put things together and that will shine when the brightest light.
Wow. Now I'm really excited. Okay, one more thing. What are we doing about the weight this time? So there are no hiccups. Are we working with anyone? What's the plan?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm in the talks that I'll be talking to Judge Lockhart here within this week. But my weight is actually down already. I'm upping my runs. I'm staying focused. You're kind of just watching the nutrition side of things. But obviously, my cardio and nutrition are going hand in hand. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. So I'm extremely light right now.
How much you weigh right now?
I'm about 140.
Okay, that's good for you?
Yeah, that's light for me.
But you will be working with someone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm treating this fight, Ariel, like I'm training for the Olympics.
Wow.
This is the Olympics of MMA, and that's how I'm going to treat it. I'm in complete concentration and isolation, and that's it. But part of it is I'm excited, and I know what I'm capable of doing.
And have you never treated an MMA fight like this before? Like, does this feel different for you?
No, absolutely. But I think there's a little more focus to this one. I'm a very disciplined and focused human being, but especially a lot of emphasis on my weight. Obviously, that's pretty much number one. 'Cause I know if I make the weight good and I feel good, he's gonna have his hands full come April 23rd. But nothing's changed because we've trained hard. It's just we're gonna fight him accordingly. It's like one of my pastors. He says Henry, when David fought Goliath, he didn't fight him with strength. He didn't go toe to toe with Goliath. He didn't fight him. He didn't fight him with the sword. He fought. You know what David did? He picked up a rock, slingshot, and hit him extremely precise and dropped him and killed him. And that's kind of like the theme that I'm taking to this fight is, hey man, I'm going up against Goliath, and I'm going to fight him a certain way, and that's all there is to it. And I know if I find a certain way that I'm going to become victorious, just like David did.
Well, Henry, you can't see me right now, but a big smile. I just love it. I love everything you bring to the table. You have gotten me and others, people writing me on Twitter, infinitely more excited for this fight on April 23rd. So tremendous job. I wish you the very best in training. Of course, we'll talk to you beforehand, but I really wanted to get your immediate thoughts on the fight. I appreciate you coming on and switching things up. And again, good luck in preparing for the fight, and say hello to Eric as well.
Oh, I will. He says hi too, but I'm going to give you something, Ariel, because I know you love the WWE. But brother, I am ready. Come April 23rd, I'm coming for you, Mighty Mouse. I'm coming for you.
Well said. Thank you, Henry. Appreciate it. Best of luck to you.
All right, have a good one.
There he is, Henry Cejudo, the messenger, dropping a message here to the UFC flyweight champion. Tremendous stuff from Henry Cejudo. Fight goes down April 23rd, UFC 197 in Las Vegas. Okay, let's move along. Let's welcome in our next guest. He is the reigning and defending UFC lightweight champion. On March 5th, he faces Conor McGregor in one of the biggest fights in UFC history. He is Rafael dos Anjos. He joins us right now. RDA, how are you?
I'm good, Ariel. How about you, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for the time. Excited to speak to you. So here we are, less than a month away. And I want to ask you sort of the same question that I just asked Henry. Does this one feel any different to you? There's so much attention, so much buzz. You've been in big fights, but does this one feel different?
No, man, it's one more fight for me. You know, I'm excited. You know, I just fought like 2 months ago, and I can't wait to step back on the octagon. You know, and wait some point. Man, my cardio feels on point. You know, I didn't lose anything from the last fight. I'm still feeling great. You know, can't wait to fight.
The connection is a little choppy. Are you in your car right now?
Yeah. So I just turned off the Bluetooth here.
Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So of course, much was made of that press conference a couple weeks back. Did that change things for you? Like, did he cross the line? Did he piss you off to the point where now you took this fight more seriously, got under your skin, made it more personal? Afterwards, how did you react to all of that?
No, man, I think, man, this guy, he thinks just because he dressed like expensive clothes, he drive a nice car, you know, he has class, but he's classless, you know. He has no class, he's low life, and man, I can't wait just to go there, you know. I'm not taking personal, you know. He's a actor, you know. He's acting, and once I go there, I'm a straight guy, you know. I don't talk, I do, you know. And I'm just going to go there and send this guy back to his home, you know, and send him back to his division. And, you know, he going to have, like, nightmares with lightweight division for the rest of his life.
How difficult was it for you to sit there and you know, have him interrupt you and say things about it, and you didn't really react to it? You didn't fire back. Was that a conscious decision on your part? Did you say you didn't want to engage in that? Like, because it seemed like you sitting there, it was building up, but you didn't do anything. How difficult was that?
Yeah, it wasn't difficult, man. You know, like my parents always, like when I was kid, they always telling me, you know, if you'll never argue with crazy people, you know, let them talk. So that's what I did.
Even though when he talks about your family, he doesn't cross the line, that doesn't make you, because I was told beforehand, if he goes there, you're going to react. But he went there and you didn't. Why did you choose not to?
Yeah, because, man, I'm a cold-headed fight. You know, I do my job. I know the time will come, March 5th. I'm going to finally put my hands on this guy, and he's going to pay for everything. You know, everything he say outside of the octagon, you know, he say bad things about my God. He say bad things about my wife and my kids. Of course, for sure, he's crossing the line, but on the octagon is the place when everybody will pay for their sin, and then he's going to pay. He's going to pay for it on March 5th.
Do you have a lot of people coming up to you, Brazilian fans, teammates coming up to you and say, please shut this guy up. Please make him pay for what he's saying. I mean, now he just recently criticized your friend and teammate Fabricio Verdum at the MMA Awards. Are you getting a lot of people coming up to you and showing you support before the fight?
Man, I never had a lot of people, man, even Irish fans. They come to me and say, hey, man, please shut that guy mouth. This guy's been talking so much. Maybe 90% of the people, of the fans that I meet, they said the same thing. Please shut this guy mouth. But I'm going to do this for me, for my coaches, for my family, for my fans, you know. I'm going to do this for my God, too, you know, because, man, he's claiming to be God, and he's claiming to be the God. He can be the God. So he say he can be God. So we'll see if he can beat me.
So you're having Irish fans write to you and come up to you and say to beat, they want you to beat Conor McGregor?
A lot of guys, man, a lot of guys. The Irish say that this guy, he's embarrassing his own people, you know. He's making everybody ashamed of him. I have my neighborhood. The guy who lives next door from me, he's Irish. His wife is Irish too. You know, they have 2 kids. They live next door to me. Every time we're friends, they say, please beat this guy. He's embarrassing us. He's embarrassing the Irish people.
Wow. What was it like? I know you were just in Brazil. and you had this media tour. What was that like for you? It felt to me like, okay, this is your first time as champion where they were bringing you to Brazil, have you go around, talk to the media. Were you feeling like you were getting the attention that you deserve from the fans there and from the media alike?
Yeah, of course, man. A lot of fans, a lot of people. This fight is being gonna be a huge fight, man. It's being, a lot of media, and I'm just, man. For me, it's one more fight. I feel very focused. Very, very in shape, and of course, man, it's been different because it's a big fight.
Yeah.
And I think it's not the biggest opponent. It's not the toughest opponent, but it's the biggest fight of my career because this guy, the way that he's been talking, he's been getting a lot of fans, he's been very popular. But I faced better guys before, stronger guys, faster guys, and I think this is gonna be one more fight.
So you say that he's not the toughest opponent. Who comes to mind as far as who do you think is tougher than Conor McGregor?
Man, Ben Henderson, Donald Cerrone, these guys, they are different level, man. They are stronger, they are faster, they are taller than this guy, and I didn't have a chance to thank Dana White on the press conference because that guy, he didn't let me speak, but I want to thank Dana White and Lorenzo for finally giving some easy fight, finally. I always have tough fights in UFC, and this fight will bring a lot, and finally have some easy fight.
Is a part of you, though, a little annoyed that he is, he's never fought at lightweight in the UFC? Like, you're the champion, you had to win several in a row to get here. Are you annoyed that he's even getting the shot?
No, man. I think the other guys on my division, they probably be very upset. But I'm going to do my job. If the UFC gave him a title shot, it's fine. I'm going to do my job, go there, and send him back to his division, And so whatever UFC put on my way, I'm going to make sure I'm going to crush their dreams, because my dreams are in line. And this guy, he's looking to be a two-weight champion, but he's not going to make history over me.
We had Eddie Alvarez on the show an hour ago, and he said that the blueprint is there. Like, he doesn't understand why fighters don't fight Conor the right way. And he said that he was hoping that you would go back to your basics, your jiu-jitsu, your ground game, and try to frustrate him, put him to the ground. Don't stand with him. Do you agree with him that fighters aren't fighting him the right way, and are you going to be different?
Man, I don't agree.
Okay.
I think I can beat this guy anywhere. I think if I fight a jiu-jitsu match with him, I will beat him. If I fight a karate match with him, I will beat him. If I fight a K1 rules with him, I will beat him. I think I can beat him anywhere. I'm going to do my job. I'm going to do what I've been doing on my fights. I'm going to, break his mind standing. He's going to feel very bad after, hit him hard several times. And then maybe if I want, I will take him down and smash him a little bit on the ground. But I'm not going to this fight like I'm not gonna stand with Conor because I think he doesn't bring anything different to me. I think I'm a better fight everywhere than him.
Does he do anything that concerns you that you can honestly say, okay, I need to watch out for this or that?
Oh, yeah, man, he's a good fighter. I'm not saying he's not a good fighter. He's a good fighter, but I just face better guys, and I just think I'm at a different level. He has a good, he's a counter,
Mm-hmm.
He have a good straight left, so I need to watch it, but not anything that I didn't see before, I fought Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is a better boxer than him, longer, very, very, very difficult to fight against. Nate Diaz is a very tough opponent, and, Cerrone is a very Muay Thai guy, very good, very long, and, man, I fought better guys before,
What was the vibe like backstage at the press conference when he was late, when they had to start without him? Were you noticing that people were upset? Were you getting upset? What was it like?
Yeah, I think, all the fans, but, all the media, I think it's kind of disrespectful, but, you know, when he stepped, everybody laughed, everybody, you know, give him, like, you know, like, everybody laughed at him, you know, like, oh, like, you did good. Now, for me, I think it was disrespectful with the fans, with the media, but it's really what it is, man.
And, you know, he brought up an interesting point. He said that the fight should be sold as champion versus champion. His belt should have been up there. They've since changed the poster to a degree. The belt is there. What did you make of that? Do you think his belt should be a part of the promotion? Or, as Dana said initially, because he wasn't putting his belt on the line, it shouldn't be a part of it?
Yeah, it's okay. He's a champion, but he's featherweight champion. I'm a lightweight champion. So the fight is for lightweight division. So, but I think it's good. You know, it's good for the promotion of the show to be two champions. It's champion versus champion. So featherweight champion against lightweight champion. I think it's fair to be you know, to be on the poster. No problem. That doesn't change anything for me.
You know, when this fight wasn't yet officially announced, there was you know, reports about it in the media, but then there was a report that you weren't signing and then he wasn't signing. Can you clear that up for us? Did you delay agreeing to the fight in any way? Did you want more money, anything? Because there were all kinds of different reports out there.
No, I'm gonna make the same thing. You know, I signed the fight. He took a little longer to sign, but I don't know why. But, you know, I make the same thing that I was making. So
you make the same thing that you made against Cerrone. I'm assuming different than the Pettis fight, because in that fight you were the challenger, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like that should be the case? This is a much bigger fight.
Man, everybody likes money. You know, I like money. I need money to survive, but I don't love money. You know, money is not my God. You know. And I think I don't worship the money like him. You know, everybody needs money, but I'm a fighter, and for fight with this guy, you know, man, what I make, I'm happy with what I make, but I think the money is not everything. You know, it's about honor. You know, I go there and I'm gonna show the world why I'm the champion, why I'm gonna be with this belt for a long time.
Both Conor and his coach, John Kavanagh, say they're going to finish you rather quickly in the first round. Do you feel like they're underestimating you, that they're not respecting your skills?
Man, these guys, they don't respect nobody, man. They disrespect the master Rafael Cordeiro, the guy who's been on the game for 28 years. You know, they disrespect Fabrício Verdun. He said my gym is bomb, you know, and if I don't think wrong, I think the only guy who's been winning on his gym is his, because everybody else lost. You know, just Conor, I think he won the last two fights. Everybody else lost, and so I think my gym is not bomb. We have two champions here, and we're gonna have two champions for a long time.
Are you bringing in anyone different that's not at the gym to replicate his style, to spar with you? Any new fighters coming in to help you prepare for March 5th?
Nobody, man. Same recipe. You know, this guy, he doesn't have anything that I saw before. You know, the same. One more guy. You know, nothing different. You know, I didn't bring anything special, and I've been sparring with Lyoto Machida. He's my teammate here, his brother, you know, Shinzo Machida. So we have a good karate guys here, man. So, but I didn't bring anything special. You know, we have a lot of guys here.
So you're sparring with Lyoto?
Yeah, man.
Wow. He's a lot bigger than you.
Yeah, but man, I think that's the way. I don't work on my comfort zone. I think that's why I'm a champion. I don't work on my comfort zone. You know, I don't bring guys just to beat this guy. You know, I want to get beat up on training. You know, I always work out of my comfort zone.
They just debuted a new commercial for the event. They debuted it on Saturday. It's really cool. 3D, all this stuff. Did you enjoy doing that? Like, are you enjoying the build up to this, or is all of this annoying? You just want to fight, punch him in the head, get it over with?
No, man. It's all part of the game, you know. I work so hard to be in this position and like to go to Brazil to do all the media, to go to Las Vegas, do all the media. It's something that I enjoy. You know, it's tiring, you know, like training sometimes you get tired, but it's part of the game. You know, I can't complain and I do it with love.
So even, you know, I see when you're mentioning about what he said about your gym and Master Rafael Cordero and Verdum, it's not personal at all. You're not allowing it to get in your mind. You think that that's been a mistake that others have made, like Aldo, Chad Mendes, others? Do you think that that's the key here? Just don't let him get into your mind and make it personal?
No, of course, man. Just one more fight. Like everybody saw how much Cerrone was. Cerrone is not a kind of guy that's speaking a lot. He was speaking a lot, you know, trash talking a lot before our fight. And I didn't take it personal, you know. I just went there and beat him. That's what I'm going to do with Conor, you know. He's crossing the line, but I'm a cold-headed fighter, you know. I've been on this game for a long time. It's going to be my fight of number 20 on UFC. You know, I've been fighting MMA for 12 years. And, man, I grew up in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, Niterói, you know, on the favelas, with the bullying. You know, bullying is crazy there. And I survived all it, you know. It's not going to be this guy from Europe, from Irish, going to get in my head, you know.
By the way, that stare down, when you were looking at him, your eyes, it was a little frightening. I mean, the look that you gave him, what's going through your mind when you're looking at him like that?
It's a killer look, you know. It's a killer. He never faced nobody like me, you know. He never faced nobody with my power, with my spiritual power, and everything that I'm gonna bring, you know. He's gonna feel it's not only me as a fighter, you know. It's not only Rafael dos Anjos there, but you know, it's all my spiritual presence. He's gonna feel that on March 5th. Once he step on the octagon, he's gonna feel he's not on his night.
Final thing, his team loves to make predictions. As you know, we just talked about it. What's your official prediction?
Man, my prediction is I'm gonna win for sure. You know, I don't see how this guy can beat me, but a prediction: this fight will not be 5 rounds. It's gonna be maybe 3 or 2 rounds. This guy, he's not gonna be able to handle me for more than 2 rounds. You know, he's gonna break like a girl.
And you said you were gonna make it go longer to punish him. Is that still what you want to do?
Yeah, I will see. If I have a opportunity to finish, I will finish. But I will feel him first. You know, I wanna, you know, like hit him first. You know, a couple times. I want him to feel my power. You know, because he's been having all such a good time on the octagon. Everything that he's predicting is being happening. But I think this time his crystal ball is a little blurry, you know. I think he's not seeing well, and he gonna feel the difference. I'm gonna show him the bad part of the octagon. I went through the good part and the bad part, you know, and I went through all it. But now I'm gonna introduce him the bad part.
Wow. I was very excited. I didn't think I could get more excited. I'm now 1,000 times more excited. Tremendous job, Rafael. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it. I know you're very busy now, so it means a lot that you'd come on the show. Best of luck to you in training, and, of course, good luck on March 5th.
Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, all fans. Bye.
All right, there he is, Rafael dos Anjos. Wow. What is in the air today? Henry Cejudo, Rafael dos Anjos, Michael Chandler, Eddie Alvarez, Ben Rothwell. The gentlemen are bringing it today on the MMA Hour, and we're not done. Wow, that was great. Rafael's come a long way with his interviews. That was tremendous stuff. I'm so excited. My hands are tingling. March 5th. Can't come soon enough. Less than a month away, UFC 196. Wow, I'm sweating. Okay, 2 more guests to go. They're coming on together. Very excited about this. We're being joined right now via the magic of Skype. Top contender in the middleweight division, Yoel Romero. There he is. And his manager, Malki Kawa. Hey, guys, how are you? Hola.
are you?
Good, thank you.
Good.
How
Oh,
are
wow.
you?
Look at that English. I like it, Yoel. Very, very nice job. Okay, there's a lot to get to here, but before we get to Yoel, Malki, of course, you represent the great Jon Jones. A lot of stories out there today about his drive. What can you tell us about Jon?
He was pulled over for a minor traffic violation, and he was cited for not having his paperwork with him. He'll be in court Wednesday, and he will do just like the rest of us do when we get a ticket. He'll go to court, and he'll either get it dismissed, or the judge will say, you gotta get your paperwork together, whatever it is. So no big deal. It's really no big deal. I'm not really understanding all the hype behind it, but hey, it's Jon Jones.
So this doesn't affect April 23rd, right?
No, sir, at all. Doesn't affect April 23rd, doesn't affect his probation, doesn't affect anything. You got a ticket just like the rest of us do.
Okay, so you're 100% sure, because people are freaking out, as is Daniel Cormier. Everyone's freaking out.
1,000% sure that Jon Jones is perfectly fine.
Okay.
He's doing phenomenal. He's doing great. He's in training camp. He's doing awesome.
Okay, glad to hear. Okay, now let's move along. And if I can ask you, can you turn the audio down a little bit? Because I'm getting some feedback off the computer, I think.
How about now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Okay. Yoel, let me talk to you first. This has been a very interesting time for you after the fight. You get a big win over Jacare. This news comes out that you've been provisionally suspended, and everyone under the sun is calling you a cheater, a liar, all this stuff. Everyone's piling it on you. What has it been like? We'll get into the facts, but what has this been like for you as you sit on the sidelines and have to listen to everyone, especially just kind of disparage your name?
I believe everything is something happening in the life for something, I want to say thank you for USADA, because USADA worked a lot about this situation, and now everything is clean. Everything, I know everything what happened. I want the people know what is the situation, what happened in this situation. I have for 30 years, I do a sport, professional sport. I go for the World Championship, Olympic game, I never take it something like this. I never take it in my life. I don't need it. I don't do nothing, And now the USADA work a lot. I tell you, and now because he wanted to say my name is my performance is not. I don't do it. I don't do nothing, Que yo quiero decirle que USADA trabajó duro.
He wants to tell everybody that USADA has been working real hard
para poder esclarecer.
To clear, the situation, to kind of let everybody, to kind of, well, Aaron, let me kind of answer it for you in a way.
Okay, well, tell us what happened, because I know you can explain it better than him.
So basically,
go ahead.
Basically what happened was that we got notified that he and like how USADA always does whenever there's a potential, findings in the drug test, right? And his drug test came back that supposedly he popped for something, and he was totally caught off guard. And he was shocked, right? He was like, hey, look, I didn't do this. And so for us as his managers, and for most people like yourselves in the media and everything like that, if he would have came out and said, hey, I didn't do this, everybody would have thought, okay, yeah, right. You got a blood test that says one thing, and then you got you saying something different. And what basically happened was, he took a certain supplement after the fight, okay, that was contaminated. It had an illegal substance in it. Now, I know everybody's probably going to say, well, hold on a second. All right, we've heard this story before. The reason why he keeps saying, USADA worked hard and this and that and the other, and honestly, it's a lot of credit that goes to USADA and Jeff Nowitzki and the whole, everybody that was involved in it. He maintained his innocence the whole time. He got visited by USADA after the fact. There were certain things that happened between the thing. He provided them the supplements that he took. And there was one specific supplement he took after the fight. And he said, this is the supplement that I took. When you read the label, there's nothing in there. It's a natural supplement. It's supposed to be as clean as possible. It's something that anybody could have taken. And if everything that on the label would have been in there, we never would even be here. It ended up being that this particular supplement was contaminated with the product that he failed for. We ended up buying the product. We ended up sending it out for our own independent testing. And then USADA went ahead and did their own independent research of this product and, getting of the product and all this other stuff, and did their investigation. And they came back and they found out that there's a contamination problem with this particular supplement. So not just Yoel Romero, anybody else who's been taking the supplement has this, banned substance in their system right now.
What was the substance?
Here's the only thing, Ariel, we really can't get into too many details as far as what the supplement was or the substance that he failed for, because USADA still is investigating this thing, and not just on this level, but on another level as well. So I don't want to hinder any type of their investigation or anything that's going on right now at this point.
Okay, so the A sample comes back obviously positive, and you asked for the B sample to be tested. That came out positive as well, right?
Correct.
Okay, but now you have since found out that the substance, whatever it is contaminated, correct?
Correct.
USADA is in agreement with this? They did their testing?
Correct.
So now what do they say?
Well, that's the part. We're still getting all that stuff worked out, and we should hopefully have a resolution for Yoel by the end of this week.
Is it possible that Yoel walks away with no suspension, no punishment, no fine, no nothing?
Well, I think from what I understand the code to be written, in cases like this, it can be as minimal as a public warning, and it can be as much as the full 2-year suspension that they give for somebody who's using PEDs. We feel, all right, the fact that with all the facts that are out there and with everything that we know and everything that he's saying and everything that's already been corroborated by the testing that's been taking place by many different people, that that he did not do anything knowingly. I mean, listen, it's bottom line this. The supplement has a label with a bunch of stuff on it. None of that is illegal to take. What he got popped for is not on the label, so it's obviously not his fault that he popped for this. That's our position on it at this point. So, obviously we're in the hands of USADA and we're working with them hand in hand. All I can say is that USADA has been great to work with so far. They've gone above and beyond what I think I could have asked of them to do for us in this case. Jeff Nowitzki, the guy that works for the UFC that's in charge of this program, has done a phenomenal job of keeping us on point with what we have to do, all of our rights, all of our options. And if it wasn't for that, I don't know that we would be in the position that we're in today. I think his biggest goal with this interview was just to kind of let people know, hey, I didn't cheat. I didn't take any PEDs. I definitely didn't do anything wrong. The fact that I failed the drug test, he understands that. He's we'll take responsibility for taking the supplement. But again, you know what I'm saying, Ariel? That's like if I gave you, a pack of gum and you take it knowing that, hey, it's a pack of gum and it ends up having something in it that you had no idea about, I had no idea about, and then, now all of a sudden you're looking at a failed drug test. That's the best way I can probably, give it to you.
And just a quick follow-up. Why not say what it is so that people can research and see, like, oh, wow, there is actually a problem here. Like, why can't you say?
We will, but the thing is, I don't want to interfere with USADA's investigation right now.
Okay.
USADA's got some other stuff going on, and I don't want to mess that up. So that's the reason why we're not going to get into the supplement, name of the supplement, the company that produces it, or the actual stuff that he popped for, because it's at a higher level than us right now.
Yoel, what do you think should happen? Do you think that there should be no punishment at all? That you didn't know you didn't know that this was in there, and you should be able to fight, whenever you want? Or are you expecting that they're going to give you something?
¿Qué tú crees que debería pasar? ¿Que no haya ningún castigo? ¿O tú estás esperando que algo pase, que te castiguen de una forma? ¿O tú crees que no debería haber ningún tipo de castigo como tú no sabías qué tipo de castigo había?
I think it's my responsibility is taking something, But I think is maybe warning, public warning, because I don't know. Nobody knows. When you see the supplement, is outside. He says it's clean. You can take it. But that's what I think is. I think that's what happened. And the final of the day is a warning public,
Mm-hmm. And speaking of making a public warning, if you will, they came out last month and said that you have been provisionally suspended. Do you wish in hindsight, and Malki, feel free to weigh in after he responds, that they kind of, let you test the B sample, let all this, and then come out with something, as opposed to coming out right away, not telling a lot of information, and everyone then calling you a cheater and piling on and all this stuff happening to you?
Que si deberían primero ellos hacer todos los requisitos para chequear sample A y sample B antes que te puedan poner una suspensión y decirle al mundo entero que estabas haciendo algo que potencialmente a lo mejor esto es lo que está pasando, que ellos deberían haber hecho de una forma diferente, esperar a hacer todo.
You know, que me dolió.
It hurt him.
Me
It hurt him.
dolió. Es mi nombre.
It's his name.
Yo soy una persona que trato de ser lo más correcto posible.
He tries to, he's the type of person that tries to do everything as correct and as possible.
Principalmente con mi equipo, con los fanáticos.
First of all, with his team and with his fans.
First of all, for his team and his fans. You know what I mean?
Con mi familia.
For his family.
You know, y conmigo mismo.
And for himself. You know what I mean? He tries to do everything right.
You know, porque toda mi vida he entrenado muy duro.
His whole entire life, he's trained very hard.
Yo me abstengo de muchas cosas en la vida.
He abstains from a lot of stuff in life.
Para poder lograr no un título mundial, sino para poder sostener a mi familia.
To reach not just a world title, but to maintain my family.
Not to just maintain a world title area, but to also maintain his family.
You know? Si yo cometiera una cosa de estas.
If I would commit one of these things.
He says that if he would have committed, what they're saying, done one of these things.
Estoy corriendo el riesgo.
I'm running a risk.
He's like, I'm running a risk.
De no poder.
That he can't.
Soportarle la ayuda.
That he can't support his family and help his family.
Mm-hmm.
Pienso más en mi familia que en un título.
He thinks more about his family than he does some title.
Yo estoy consciente.
He's conscious. That what he said. He's conscious.
De que si se toma uno de estas sustancias.
That if he takes one of these substances.
Te van a coger.
That they're going to catch him.
Mm.
Yo llevo muchos años como atleta olímpico.
He's got a lot of years being an Olympic athlete.
Llevo 30 años de atleta.
30 years of athletics.
Sí, y estoy consciente de que una gente que tome sustancia lo van a coger.
That he's always been conscious of the fact that if someone takes a substance, that there's, the fact that they could get caught.
Si yo lo hago,
that if he does that,
estoy corriendo a ciencia exacta.
I'm running at 100% science, exact science.
He says, I'm running at 100% exact science.
Que me van a coger.
That they're going to catch me.
Y serían mínimo 2 años de suspensión.
And he says that they're giving, and the suspension would be a minimum of 2 years.
2 años que dejaré de poderles pagarle quizás en el futuro la universidad, el bienestar de mi familia.
2 years that he would not be able to in the future.
2 years that he would not be able to pay for his, 2 years that would, obviously take away from his earning potential.
Right.
That can't pay for his daughter's college and all that other stuff.
Es ilógico.
He says it's not ideal, it's illogical.
Es estúpido.
It's stupid.
Hacer una cosa de estas.
It's to do something like this. So Ariel, for me to weigh in also, let me just give it to you like this.
Yep.
I actually spoke to Jeff Nowitzki and I said to him, Jeff, originally when we got the A sample back and it came out, I saw him at one of the events. I said, Jeff, I don't understand why, this guy now is guilty without being, given his day in court. I really wish that there was a way for you guys to wait, because if you're telling me that the B sample can come back negative and then this whole thing goes away, then, the reality of it is we should wait till the B sample comes back, or until, some sort of appeals process goes through. And listen, like I said, Ariel, Jeff's has been nothing but a gentleman through this whole process. He's been very helpful. This is my first time going through a PED, allegation and a suspension. And he said to me, he's like, it's something that he's gonna, look at and visit and see if there's something that, there's a way to make it, to change the policy on how they do it. They do this, I think, to be very transparent, and they don't want people, wondering what's going on and things. So they just, put the information out there. But if you ask me my opinion, representing these fighters, especially in this case, how it turned out, I would much rather see them wait until a fighter goes through all his options. And in this case, for this situation, from the time he fought or the time he got tested, which was, second to last week of December until now, it really, wouldn't have hurt anybody if they would have waited. I mean, they only announced the other title fight last week. You follow what I'm trying to say? And we probably will have all this resolved by the end of this week, which means he could have been, still slated to fight for the championship like he was supposed to. And now, obviously, we don't know where that's going to end up being, when that's going to be, or even what the outcome's going to be.
I'll ask you about that in a second, but I just want to ask you a similar question that I asked him, Malki. What is your impression that you're getting right now? Are you getting the impression that he's going to get off and there'll be no punishment at all? Do you think that they'll slap him on the wrist? What's the the feeling that you have right now?
Again, we just got into those conversations with USADA today. We're going to finish those up hopefully this afternoon and through the rest of the week. Like I said, they're still investigating certain things and they're still going through the stuff. But I would just think, this is again me speaking, not on behalf of USADA or anyone else or thing. When you look at the code and you look at what their rules state and says, it can be as minimal as a public warning, or it could be up to 2 years. I don't expect it to be 2 years. I don't think 2 years would be fair. I don't think that anything again, in my opinion, anything that outside of them saying, hey, look, he really didn't do this knowingly or on purposely. Now, again, he did take the supplement. And this is something that, I hope a lot of other fighters and people understand. If you take a supplement, you run the risk of this happening. You know what I mean? The responsibility still falls on Yoel. He did take the supplement. You follow me? Although it was contaminated and ultimately it wasn't his fault, he still took the supplement. So there's going to be something. What that is, we don't know. I don't know what the feeling of how it's going to go. I obviously can hope for the best and tell you I would like to see him, walk away with this thing with his exonerated from the whole situation without a problem.
Okay, so we saw him UFC 194, big win over Jacare, and it seemed like, all right, that fight was the number one contender fight. It seemed that night that he was the number one contender. Before all this happened, what were you hearing? Was he getting the title shot? And
he was getting the title shot.
He was.
Absolutely, he was.
That was from the UFC?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And is it gone? Because, they announced last week in June, Dana, but kind of before all this came out, I think, that before you guys finally heard back. So is he going to get it back? Is he going to have to wait?
Well, they announced the other fight now. So obviously, and again, look, Ariel, we're still not out of this. We still don't know what, the end result's going to be for him. They can still punish him and say, hey, you still took the product. You're going to be gone for 2 years. We don't expect that, but we don't know what's going to happen, right? So obviously the UFC is not going to sit around and wait. They've got a business to run and they did their thing. But in our opinion, if let's say Friday comes and they say, hey, you know what, let's call it time served, or hey, public warning, and it's over with, you know what I mean? They've already announced the other fight. So, now we've got to sit down and look at what our next option is going to be. And that's what sucks about this whole thing is that, here's a guy that was next in line and we believe would have got the title shot. We think that's what, the plan was going to be. And if it wasn't for this, he would be stated to be fighting for the title.
Yeah.
Yoel, what would you like to do in a perfect world? At this point, would you like to, if all goes well, would you like to wait for the winner of that? Do you want to be active and not wait, for the winner of this fight if it happens in June, Weidman, Rockhold 2? What would you like to do in a perfect world?
¿Qué es lo que tú quieres hacer en un mundo perfecto? ¿Esperar a la pelea a ver quién va a ganar entre Weidman y Rockhold o mantenerte activo y pelear a otra persona? ¿Qué es lo que te gustaría de hacer?
I training, I'm fight, es lo que yo me he ganado. Yo he entrenado, he peleado y he ganado. Estoy ahora en una posición y en esta posición en la que voy a perder. ¿Cuál es mi posición? Pelear por el título mundial.
He says that he trains to fight and that what do you call it? He's in a position where he wants to fight for the world title.
Okay. Can I just say that I think the big revelation of this interview is Malki's Spanish skills. This has been I had no idea.
Hey, Ariel, listen, hold on a second. There's a translator to the left, so when I'm a little bit off, I look over here and you kind of just whispering it over to me.
I'm trying to give you credit here, man. Don't pull back the curtain.
But I got to give credit where credit is due because he's over here giving us all the, what do you call it?
Is it the same guy as last time?
No. The same guy as last time has been fired from any type of translating duty.
Good.
Yeah, that's done. That's done.
Well,
somebody else.
Well, props to him as well.
No, that's just another guy.
Muchos love for the
I was
other
trying to get you to do this in English. To be honest with you, I told him, I said, hey, try to do this in English as much as you can. So he's trying the best that he can right now to try to talk to the fans. You know what I mean? In English.
Let me ask you, Yoel, has he heard the comments from some of his fellow competitors, people he's fought,
oh, yeah.
And what is his reaction to what they've been saying?
Hold on, let me just make it clear. Tim Kennedy, Michael Bisping,
I hear everybody. I hear now everybody. I have something for everyone. I have, and now I believe in God. Yo tengo corazón de cristiano.
I have the heart of a Christian.
You understood what he said? Yeah, I have the heart of a Christian.
But
ellos
no conocen al hombre viejo.
He says they don't know a guy, an old guy, the old Romero.
Oh.
Ellos están buscando a ese hombre viejo.
They're looking for that old Romero, the old man.
They're asking for the old Romero. You know what I mean?
Tienen que tener cuidado.
They need to be careful.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've
the old Romero from the things I know about the old Romero era, he really wasn't a nice, good guy. I can tell you that much right now. So.
I can be real mean.
He says he can be real mean.
I got to tell you.
Menos hablador que Conor McGregor. Menos hablador que Conor.
I don't talk as much as Conor.
He says I don't talk as much as Conor.
But puedo ser en el ring más pesado que Conor McGregor.
He said, but I'm a lot more dangerous than Conor. In the ring, I'm a lot more dangerous than Conor McGregor.
Corazón de Cristiano, alma de guerrero.
Corazón de Cristiano, alma de guerrero.
The heart of a Christian, the soul of a warrior.
Heart of a Christian, soul of a warrior.
I've talked to Yoel for a few years now. This is the most terrifying he's ever been. I just saw a switch go off. Something just changed in him when he started talking about those guys.
Yeah, he's pissed. Errol, he's pissed. I'm gonna say like this. He read all the comments. He heard all the comments, and he's upset about it because at the end of the day, he knew the whole time that he didn't do anything wrong. Like he didn't knowingly do anything on purpose to try to cheat. Let me also make some things clear. He passed all his pre-fight and fight night tests. All of those came back clean. So this was obviously after the fact. You see what I'm saying? That this thing came up. This is a supplement that he took. You know what I mean? And again, I can't really specify too much what the reasons were and all that, but we will after everything is said and done, and we'll be completely transparent with it. But he feels this thing, and everybody's coming out. Oh, he did this and he did that. He's a cheater and all this because of what they put out in the press release. And it bothered him. It hurt him because it's one thing that for 30 years he's saying that I've been tested, and I'm gonna tell you. When he found out the news about the pill being contaminated, he was at my house. We were actually sitting there letting him know that from the looks of it, the B sample came back positive, and he was going to serve out a 2-year suspension. And I was trying to go through his options, which really weren't many. Okay. In the middle of us talking, he got up and went to the bathroom. And I'm looking at my brother, and I'm like, dude, when are we gonna fucking get the test, the result of the test of the pill back? And Abraham goes, man, I don't know. And he picks up his phone, and he. Literally, his phone went ding when I said that, and he goes, I don't know, man. And as he's checking, he goes, oh, wait a minute. And he goes, you won't believe this. And I look, and I'm like, holy shit. So we start screaming Yoel's name. He was getting to the bathroom in my house. He comes running back. His pants were unbuckled. His belt was unbuckled. He's like, what? And we tell him, like, yo, dude, the pill came back, positive. This is basically what it was. He immediately broke down. You can tell that this weighed on him. It affected him. I've never seen him, like, he cried tears of, like, relief and of, like, grief a little bit because he was really grieving over this thing. It was really, really eating up at him. He didn't sleep a lot of nights. He would call me at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning many times just to, like, figure out what to do, how to do this, how could this possibly be, you know what I mean? And it really, all of it affected him in a lot of ways. So, now he's a little bit more relieved, but he's pissed off.
Okay, final thing before we let you guys go. Do you have any idea when you'll find out the final word on all of this? Like, I'm
hoping, like I said, by the end of this week, Errol, I should hopefully have everything as far as he's concerned, you know what I mean, resolved.
Okay. Did we cover anything? Anything else you want to bring up?
No.
All right.
Is there anything else?
I just want to give you the opportunity because I know he's been quiet, so I just wanted to make sure. I feel like we did, but just in case I forgot anything.
Hay algo se te olvidó, algo quieres decir.
Nada, que gracias a Usada.
He says thank you to Usada again.
A Jeff Lewitsky.
To Jeff Lewitsky.
Y a todas aquellas personas que no creyeron en mí.
And all those people that did not believe in me.
Gracias.
To all the people that didn't believe in me. Also, thank you.
Que no creyeron.
That didn't believe, right? That didn't believe.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Because están sacando algo muy bueno de mí.
You pulled something out of him that's real good.
Es un poquito de ira.
What is it?
A little bit of ire.
A little bit of ire.
I understand. Okay, gracias. Shalom, Yoel. All the
best.
Shalom. All the best to you, Malki. Thanks.
Oh, and he says, but he also says thank you to all the people who did believe in him as well.
Of course. Malki, thank you for this. I appreciate you setting it up, and good
No
luck.
problem. Thank you, Ariel.
All right.
You.
There he is.
Appreciate you
Yoel Romero, Malki Kawa. What a fascinating day. What a fascinating day it has been here on the MMA Hour. Wow. All right. Mr. New York Rick, what can you say? What can we say about all this? I mean, one guy after the next. It's almost like they got a memo. You better bring it.
And they brought it.
And it had been brung. It's not good English. I'm just buzzing right here. All right, what do we got? It's 4:26. It just turned 20. I just saw it turn from 5 to 6. That never happens.
Are you bugging out because you saw?
I just saw
1 minute turn
the
to
minute go
next?
from 5 to 6. Do you understand how special this day is? Okay, do we have time to answer any questions? What do we got? Where did you go? Did you leave me?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my own voice killed in my headphones.
Oh, that must be annoying.
Yeah, can't speak right now.
Okay. Well, hit me with some quick questions. Hit me with your best shot.
First question. Ready?
How's our stream going, by the way? Is it okay now?
At this point, would you rather see Condit, Woodley,
Well, why
or
don't you answer my
Thompson get
question?
the next title shot?
Why do you never like to address it? We have to be transparent, like Yoel Romero said. I did hear you. Can you not hear me? Okay, forget it. I'll just read the question. At this point, would you rather see Condit, Woodley, or Thompson get the next shot? It's a tough one. I still think GSP is atop the leaderboard. I feel for Tyron Woodley. He was supposed to fight in October. I don't think he has the public support behind him right now. So it's a tough one. Wonder Boy, I would love to see that fight. I don't want to take anything away from Woodley. I don't think Condit is in the mix, although Condit is meeting with the UFC this week in Las Vegas to talk about his future. So who the hell knows what's going on? A lot of options. Don't forget about Rory McDonald as well. Not so much Rory versus Robbie, but maybe we see Rory Condit. I don't know. It's a mess, but it's a fun mess. I like it. Okay, what else we got?
Okay.
Should I read it? You can go to the next one. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear
I
me?
don't hear you. I just see your face. Okay, just go to the next question and I'll read it. Has Johnny said bye to the title for good? After coming to Saturday's Octagon Showdown, do you believe we will ever see Big Rig get closer to the gold again? Yeah, I do. I still think he's good. He just lost to a better guy. And I asked him this question afterwards. Did you put too much on your plate? Change in management, change teams to a degree. Still had Stephen Wright in his corner and others. Didn't have Layman. The weight cut, all that. I mean, it's a state of transition. Who knows? Maybe he came back too soon. I still think he's a player at 170, so I'm not going to write him off. What else we got? Any update on Rory McDonald? I will say this. We were close to having an update today. It's going to have to wait. But I am in contact with him, and so we'll see what happens. I have the same questions that you all have. We were close. It's going to have to wait. That's really all I can say. You can pretty much figure it out from there. What else? I don't know if New Yorker can even hear me, but someone's going through the questions. Boom. 1, 2, 3, go. 1, 2, 3, go. There it is. Mickey Gall. What were your thoughts on the performance of Mickey Gall on Saturday? I thought it couldn't have worked out better for the UFC. They could not have scripted this better. He comes in there, looks calm. To me, the most impressive thing was his demeanor. Calm, cool, collected, confident. Comes out, big right hand, goes for the finish. What more can you ask for? Nice little awkward stare down. Perfect. I think Mickey Gall has a future. I know he's just 2-0, but you can kind of just feel it. And I think my track record speaks for itself, pinpointing guys. Now, I'm not going to say this is Conor-esque. I'm not going to say this is some of the other guys we've hitched our wagon to, but he's not some bum. Trains with Carmelo Romero, trains with the Miller brothers, trains Gracie, New Jersey. The guy has a background. He's a brown belt. He's competed in Naga. He's a kid who would be climbing up the ranks on the Northeast coast. Ring of Combat, promotions like that. And he would be here if all worked out well in maybe 2-3 years. Things have been expedited. But as far as his debut, it couldn't have gone better. It's perfect. For all involved. They've built it up the right way. What else we got? Last question for now. Derek Lewis. He's engaging. He's scary. He puffs out his chest. He bangs on the mat. It's all very crazy. What do I think of him? Fantastic personality. Interesting backstory. Nice win. He wants main card. Give him Roy Nelson. That's what I want. Roy Nelson, Derek Lewis, next. Let's make it happen. Main card. Don't piss him off. He's the Black Beast. Serkinov, submission. Nicholson, being around the sport for so long, what is your reaction to the bone-snapping submission we see even now? That one I felt. I will admit, when Serkinov popped his jaw, John Nicholson's jaw, that one hurt. I felt that one. You know, I was talking to Serkinov's team, and they think that that Nicholson actually hit him below the belt on purpose. They told me that they spoke to Herb Dean about this before the fight and said, hey, watch out for the low blows. And so they weren't really happy about that. Serkinov's got a lot of things going for him. Light heavyweight, there aren't a lot of stars at light heavyweight. Not even a lot of prospects. He's Canadian. He's got a strong following in Latvia. They're going to push this guy. He's fun to watch. He finishes. Good look. What's not to like? Misha Serkinov. Remember the name. What are your thoughts? Okay, well, I'll be honest. If we didn't have Rothwell on... Oh, the question. Rothwell Zingano. Not Zingano. Cigano. Junior Dos Santos. What do I think? Well, if Rothwell wasn't on this week, I probably would have been a little disappointed. But he sold it. He just needs one more win. Stipe's going to get the shot. That's pretty clear. It's probably going to be in May. So, he was promised a shot. Let him have it. He deserves it. The whole thing sucks. Kane's going to work his way back up. Maybe Kane versus Overeem. Rothwell, JDS. There you go. So, if he's down, I'm down. He sold it well. Let's see it happen. In Croatia. Zagreb, to be exact. April 10th. FS1. UFC 200. So many big fights. What is left for UFC 200? This is my concern as well. This is what I keep saying. I asked a UFC official about this over the weekend, and they said, don't worry, we've got something. All right, well, I know Conor wants to do it. That's big. What else? What's 200-esque? The number in the arena, is that enough? T-Mobile Arena, is that enough? I don't know. GSP, Conor, throw in one other big fight. Now you got a gigantic triple header. Does GSP come back? From what I understand, he still hasn't decided. Well, he's going to have to decide soon. Everyone's waiting. But yeah, I share your concerns. What if RDA wins? What if Conor gets injured? These things are possible. The fight's in a month. Yeah, so I'm a little concerned as well. Just as far as like the star power on that card, it deserves something special. Let's see what happens. But I've been thinking the same thing. There's no doubt about that. Okay, next question. USADA. How do you think... By the way, who needs New York Greg? I could do this all by myself. This is great. I need to hear him. I'm just kidding. I love him. Is it fair for them to announce the failures before the fighter has a chance to appeal? You know how I feel about this. I keep saying this. Look, as a journalist, I love the transparency. It's great. The more info, the better. Absolutely. But as a fighter, manager, agent, trainer, training partner, coach, I don't know if I love it. Because, okay, let's say Yoel, his name has been dragged through the mud for the past month. And yeah, I do believe he deserves some blame. If it is true what they're telling us, he unknowingly ingested something, you deserve blame. You're taking a substance. You're not 100% taking nothing. So, it comes with the territory. How many times have we heard this? It sucks. You didn't mean to do it, but it was there. So you're taking a risk just by taking anything over the counter. So, yeah, but it's potentially not as bad as we thought it was, potentially. So until the B sample gets tested, if they decide to test it, until the appeal process is over, if they decide to appeal, why should it come out? It feels like now everyone is guilty until proven innocent. Is that fair to the fighters? I don't know how I feel about that. Again, as a journalist, I want to know the whole process. I want to know everything that has been tested for, how they were tested, what day. As a journalist, don't get me wrong, I want it all. But now putting my, other hat on and trying to put myself in their shoes, I can understand why a lot of fighters and managers feel like, wait a second, why are we coming out with this before the process is out? Now, the Tim Means situation is different because they had to pull him from the fight, because even if he asked for the B sample or appeals, he's not going to be ready for February 21st. That's next week. Not this coming weekend, following weekend. It's a 2-week process. It's not going to happen. So they had to move on, and now it's Cowboy versus Cowboy, if you missed it. Alex Oliveira versus Donald Cerrone. So the Tim Means one, even if he claims innocent, they had to move on. They had to tell us why. But for other guys like Yoel and other people who may feel like they were wronged or want to go down the appeals process, they have a point when they say that maybe it's coming out a little too early, in my opinion. Oh,
can you hear me?
Prodigal son has returned.
Can you hear me?
No, I just see you. I'm just kidding. I just wanted to pretend like I didn't hear you.
Oh, because before...
It was going great without you.
Before, you could only see me and not hear me, so...
Yes, that's true. But I was just enjoying it.
Well, I'll just go away. See you.
No, I'm kidding. What else you got?
Yeah, man. How about this show, though? I didn't even get to weigh in on that.
Oh, yes.
What a show. No, what a show so far. All right.
It's been incredible.
This one's about technique and just, the evolution of the sport, really.
By the way, quick update, courtesy of Marco Mundi. We were just talking about the John Jones situation. He just posted an article on MMAfighting.com saying that John Jones will not face any probation violation charges on his traffic citation.
There you go.
At least not from the district attorney. So that is a positive update, although, John, let's go. No more trouble. Anyhow, move along.
With the recent trend of victories by stand-up strikers who favor high leg kicks like Stephen Thompson, Holly Holm, Conor McGregor, and many more, are we seeing a major shift in the fighting styles over the wrestling/BJJ ground-based disciplines?
I don't know. I think it all changes. It varies from fight to fight. But
I do.
Yes, go ahead.
I think that we are seeing a bit of an evolution that the predominant style is somebody who's a vastly better striker than the wrestlers and can keep the wrestlers from taking them down. I think that if you are somebody who can, and it kind of goes back to the days of Chuck Liddell, which he used his wrestling defensively and used it to keep standing and striking. I think that we're kind of returning to that as the more dominant form. Whereas, a few years ago, wrestling seemed to be the style that seemed to dominate.
Yeah.
I think we're kind of going back.
Speaking of wrestling, what do you think? If Romero unknowingly took something, right, but it's in his system, but it was a mistake, does he get a punishment? Like if you're the judge and jury?
I'd have a real hard time punishing a guy for reading a label.
You still took something.
Yeah, but he read a label that had no banned ingredients, no things that would cause him to test positive. And then apparently, now this is based on the information given to us by Malki.
Sure. I'm just saying, if this is all true. He
read the label, it said that there was nothing banned in it, and it turns out there's something banned in it. I'd have a hard time blaming the guy for that.
All right.
I'd have a really, really hard time.
What else you got?
Let's see.
Any questions about Derek Fisher?
No.
Surprising.
Just a congratulations from James Glory.
Well, you know what? Hey, let me say something about James Glory. I don't read a lot of the comments because sometimes they're just annoying or too negative, and you don't want to read all the positive because then you get a big head, and you also don't want to read all the negative because then you don't want to be depressed, right? You have to treat them the same way. But he has a certain style. I always look for James Glory.
Super positive.
He's just such a beautiful human being.
Now,
I appreciate him.
I want to say two
thank
things.
Him. Yes.
First, shout out to Lamont18, another guy who's always in the comment section, bringing it. Some of the best questions on the site.
Honest, I haven't noticed him, but I'll look out for him.
I notice him. Okay. I see all. Lamont18.
Yeah, respect.
Second thing, congrats on 6 straight Journalists of the Year awards. I don't know if we touched on this while I was, in my hibernation period.
Well, I mentioned at the top of the show, I didn't know it was 6. I wasn't counting, so thank you for telling me.
Oh, okay.
I just want to reiterate what I said in my speech. I know no one saw it because it wasn't televised.
It is going to be, though.
Yeah, but
Fox
it's just like a highlight show. They never show my
part.
Oh,
really?
I just want to say that I still strongly feel like the Journalist of the Year should not be a category, and I don't even know about some. It should be about the fighters, in my opinion. And so it feels a little funny. Like the NHL awards are great. There's no Journalist of the Year in that. And that's been around for years, decades. So I still feel a little funny. Like there's all these great fighters. Like Holly Holm is sitting in the front row. I'm accepting an award. And Holly freaking Holm is sitting there with her great husband, Jeff. And I'm like, I should not be here standing and talking
Disagree.
to you. It's bizarre. But I'm appreciative. I'm thankful. I'm humbled. I am so I'm so thankful to the fans in particular, and also the fighters who give us the time of day like they did today. So I know that it's part of the it's part of the game. I still feel like there shouldn't be a journalist of the year, and I also will reiterate what I said. I share it with all the other journalists in the sport because sometimes I feel like the word MMA media is like this bad word. We're evolving, like the sport is evolving, like the fighters are evolving. And I think we need to be more unified. And I think that we need to work together and not crap on each other and not try to put each other down or steal sources or even crap on the awards. Let's try to work together. I like a strong media core as opposed to a divided one.
Sure. But I could not disagree more. The idea that if Holly Holm's sitting there, well, who's telling Holly Holm's story? What outlet do we have to learn about these things? And I think that journalism is an important.
It's important,
cog,
but I don't
cog in
think
that
we should
wheel.
be competing. I don't know. It just feels funny. Sort of like referee of the year. I feel like that's a funny one.
I'm all for it.
Props to Ariane Celeste, who crapped on her award. She said that it was the silliest award of the night.
Oh.
So I actually think that being self-deprecating is actually a nice quality.
Yeah, but do you really want to crap on the award that you're receiving?
I know. I understand. No, it's just like, look, at the end of the day, it's the fighters. They're the ones putting everything on the line. We're just all part of the show. If there's no fighters, there's no journalists, there's no outlets, there's no ring girl, there's no nothing. There's no promoters, there's no nothing. So we have to remember that, and I feel like the more attention, the better. But anyways, thank you, James. You're the man. And thank you to everyone who voted for MMA Fighting as well. And thank you to Fighters Only.
And thank you to everybody who voted for the MMA Hour as well, even though we didn't win.
We didn't win. I thought we were robbed. I don't think that we're in the right category there. But how about us nudging our way in there with the likes of UFC Embedded and the Bellator show and all that? So it's very nice. Anyway, what else we got? Oh,
so now we're going to Twitter. We had John Jones weigh in a little earlier on Twitter.
Wow, how about that? Look at Johnny Bones.
Speaking of journalism and MMA journalism, I'm interested to see how many journalists show up to the courtroom on Wednesday to report this career-changing masterpiece. I think it's safe to say that we're not going to probably see much come out of this, and maybe there was a bit of an overreaction this morning.
I mean, it was a story. I don't know if people were freaking.
No, it was a story, but I think people were concerned that John
Sure.
Jones was going to be.
I like this.
In danger. And it doesn't seem to be.
All right, well, let's see how many show up.
Here's the question.
Okay.
Do you think John Jones is right? Do you think it's not a big deal? And do you think this will affect the fight with Cormier?
I won't say it's not a big deal. Who am I to say that?
Right.
In
terms of MMA.
My gut, from what I'm hearing from everyone, at least as we sit here right now, February 8th, I don't think it will affect the fight that was just announced this weekend. That's my gut, but I will not say that it's not a big deal because who the hell am I to say that?
Yeah. Now that Benson Henderson has signed with Bellator, how far off do you think they are from another pay-per-view?
Hopefully very far off. I don't think that's smart. By the way, I like this new hashtag, MMA Hour Mailbag. Nice job.
Too long.
Yeah,
the MMA
too
Hour.
long. Or just the MMA Hour. Oh, he did two.
Appreciate the effort.
Yeah. It's not smart. They're owned by Viacom. That's a TV company. Why do it? They're going in the right direction with these signings. I'll say I love the Benson signing for them. I love the Haritonov signing for them.
Yeah.
The Lieben one, I get why they're doing it. There's obviously some questions there. I love the Michael Chandler signing, obviously. Holy crap, how about Michael Chandler? He was like a choir boy. Now he's like...
I feel like we saw this last time.
It's
been a while since we had
like
Chandler
this.
on, but I think he was just as good last time.
It wasn't like this, at least from what I remember.
I agree with you. The Michael Chandler that we've gotten recently is A++.
Anyway, I hope... Yeah, stick to Spike. Stick to Spike.
Another one that says mailbag. Interesting.
Weird.
How has the response been for In the Clinch?
Thank you for asking.
Is a CM Punk / Chicago episode possible?
Anything is possible when you have a dream. Kevin Garnett told me that. In his,
is possible.
Yes. It was received very well. The time slot wasn't great. Not a ton of promotion. But I'd say it was received well. And who knows? When you wish upon a star. How's the rest of the song go?
You done with the cliches over here?
There's no difference who you are. Is that how it goes? I don't remember. But anyhow, I appreciate everyone tuning in and giving it a push. And who knows? We'll see. Again, I said it was just a pilot, so we'll see.
This is our last one. What did you guys think of Cam Newton and his walk-off after the game? Recall anyone doing this at a press conference or done to you personally, Ariel?
That's a great question from a guy who usually doesn't give us any good questions.
Oh, wow.
Joe Daddy.
Calling out Joe
Usually
Daddy.
a troublemaker. One time asked me if I wanted French fries in the lobby of a hotel in, I believe, Houston or Dallas. Anyway, Joe Daddy's a good guy. He's actually a longtime fan and supporter. I love him. I saw that clip. I felt for him. And can I just say, I don't know how much of the clip that you saw. This is Cam Newton.
I saw it, yes.
Okay, quarterback of the Panthers. They lose in very frustrating fashion. Everyone thought they were going to win, at least most people. Shout out to Chuck Minhall, the man who had his Broncos won. Did you hear the questions that were being asked? Those were some horrible questions. I mean, they were almost like condescending. The tone was condescending. I have no problem with what Cam Newton did. He answered a few questions. They were all stupid for the most part, I thought. That was on the media. The guy just lost the Super Bowl. A little tact, a little sensitivity. You can ask things a certain way. He probably wasn't going to answer anything, all that elaborately anyway. But the 3-minute clip that I saw, those are some of the dumbest questions I've heard. And you know me, I don't like to criticize media ever. And I just couldn't believe that he actually stuck around for 3 minutes.
And now that it's also been revealed that apparently somebody from the winning side was sitting very close by, and they were interviewing them.
Yes.
And they were essentially gloating. And it's, if you're sitting there trying to answer these questions about the toughest loss of your career, and you're hearing some guy gloating about the win, feet away from you, I can't imagine it's the easiest thing in the world.
Well, then shame on the NFL for setting it up that way. I was wondering who was sitting next to him talking, because usually it's like, NBA Finals, they're at the big podium and everyone gets a chance to talk. And I know there's a lot more people involved in an NFL game, but it just seemed like a lot of chatter. It felt like a pre-game scrum for the quarterback of the losing team of the Super Bowl.
Do you feel like it's his responsibility to face that music, though?
He did. He faced it. He showed up. He didn't have to show up.
He did have to show up.
Says who?
What do you mean? He's mandated to show up.
Does he have to if he lost?
Yes.
Well, I don't think he should have to. It's good that he did. He did. He left. The guy just lost the Super Bowl. Sometimes we have to remember that, these are human beings. They're emotional. He'll talk. He's been great with the media. He's had a great year. He's great with the fans. We need more Cam Newtons. And if he's going to show his emotion and get, all worked up and leave, I have no problem with it. I'm not going to be one of these media guys that say he has to sit there and listen to our stupid questions. Come on. That's actually one of the reasons why I'm so happy that I get to cover MMA, because there's just nothing to talk about in these games. Like, what are they asking him? There was not like, I know you saw their defense, but did you expect that kind of defense? I mean, obviously he saw their defense. Everyone knew they had good defense. Like, what do you want him to say?
No, but think of it. If let's assume the questions were asked, the questions that were asked were better, though. Wouldn't you relish that opportunity to speak to somebody who had just suffered that defeat if given it? Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, those are some of the best interviews, right? But there needs to be some tact. And look, we've been watching sports long enough. The loser interview of a sports game, especially millionaire athlete, like, they're not going to give you much. Yeah. Sometimes they go off the grid and they give you a tremendous interview. But if you're going to sit there and ask dumb questions, and in particular, not so much the dumb questions, but in that kind of tone. And then when you add to the fact that you just said the guy, someone who won was right next to him, I mean, what do you expect? So I think the NFL is actually partly to blame. I think the journalists are partly to blame. And you could blame Cam as well. Like, okay, fine. He should have sat there for 10 minutes or whatever it is, 7 minutes. I don't know what it is. He sat there for 3 or something like that. Fine, blame him. But I sympathize with him. He's a human being. He just lost the Super Bowl. It was devastating. Come on.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And also, the Super Bowl, to me, like, what has happened to the Super Bowl?
What do you mean? I feel like we've gotten good games the last couple of years.
You didn't even watch it. You were celebrating the Chinese New Year.
I didn't watch it live. I did watch it.
It sucked. Give me game one of the NBA Finals any day.
This game was not good, but what about last year? Last year was incredible.
The best part of the Super Bowl for me was the halftime show. And I know it's cool to crap on it.
You're
I thought it was
a Coldplay
fantastic.
fan, right?
No, freaking Bruno Mars. Guy kills it.
Big Coldplay fan.
Vibrata. Daniel Bryan has retired. Is it an angle or not?
I don't know.
Okay, good insight. What else before we go? As I said, Chris Lieben signs. Kharitonov signed. I gave you the BJ Penn update.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah, that was something.
A lot of big stories coming out today.
Chris Carriasso retired. A lot going on in the world of MMA, but I think we are done. Are we done? Anything else?
That's
I see
it.
your schedule here.
No, this is Alex's.
Okay.
There was a lot of things going on back here.
Well,
if the world only knew.
If the world only knew. I appreciate the guys in the back for getting our stream back up. A small hiccup, and if you missed it, I do suggest going back, by the way, because it was during the Chad Mendes interview, and he was really talking honestly and openly about the whole alpha male situation. So if you're watching this live and missed when the stream went down for like 10, 15 minutes, I mean, let's be honest, this is almost a 4-hour show here. These things are going to happen. This is free entertainment that we're giving you out of the goodness and kindness of our souls. I do share the frustration, don't get me wrong, but anyhow, go back if you missed it because it was definitely worth catching. That does it. You can hit my music. What a show. I am buzzing right now. One of my favorite shows in a very long time, and I feel like I say that every week, but it's true. Anyway, any sign of Derek Fisher on Fifth Avenue, or has he left town? Probably left town. He's probably going back to LA. Good riddance. Can't just come in as coach of the Knicks. No coaching background. Smug attitude, condescending. What is going on? Yeah, sure, the team sucked last year, but come on. Tom Thibodeau, wherever he is, drive that Cablevision truck, give him a gazillion dollars, and bring him back home. Okay, I know most of you don't care about all that, so I'm going to thank Mike Jackson for coming on. The best to the truth. Thank you very much to Ben Rothwell. Great stuff from him. As always, good luck on April 10th. Thank you very much to Eddie Alvarez. Great stuff from him as well. Congrats on the win. Michael Chandler, congrats on the new deal. Great stuff from him as well. All the best to Alexander Gustafsson on his move and in the future. Great stuff from Chad Mendes. Honest stuff. Really enjoyed talking to Chad. Great stuff from Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo up the ante. Finally, someone poking at DJ. The R-bomb, the Rodin bomb. I love it. Tremendous stuff from Rafael dos Anjos. Can't wait for March 5th. UFC 196. Holly Holm Tate also on that card, of course. And thank you very much to Yoel, Romero, and Malki Kawa. Good luck to him as they try to clear Yoel's name. That's it for us. If you missed anything, iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, all that good stuff and more. Back next week, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.